Welcome to another episode of Not Another Podcast with the Esports Social Club. I'm James Jimenez O'Cowan. We have a stacked couch today. We've got Geordie McAleer in the corner. Returning is Sean Carlson. We've got Nick Bobir from Chiefs. And, of course, Ian Sniper Turner on the very end.
We've got our very own... It was right there on my head, but then I forgot the name. And Trevor Marmalade. He's like our Trevor Marmalade. Or is he like our Dickie Knee?
What's Trevor Marmalade?
Or you could be our Dickie Knee.
Are you being a boomer again?
No.
Yeah?
Dickie Knee needs to come up from underneath the camera. Man. Boom, boom. Anyway, move right along. This podcast is brought to you by Skrilla, who are Australia's first esports betting website. Big supporters of us and allowing us to bring you more content regularly. And if you are looking to bet, do remember, gamble responsibly and check out their markets they are offering. Gentlemen, great to have you on board. Firstly, Nick.
Cheers, boys.
It's been a while.
Been waiting to get on the casting couch, so thanks for having me.
Oh, we don't.
The other one's a casting
we don't
couch.
refer to this couch.
That's big fan and YouTuber as well. I do like the YouTuber.
Oh,
is YouTube.
We have a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we recently had Pilly actually leave us on YouTube.
Scumbag.
Found out he was a Spotify user.
They're actually migrating away from YouTube.
He's trans.
It's crazy.
Transferred.
They'll save me hours, so that's all right.
Hours? No, we're doing cameras.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, same.
Cameras are here to stay, Mac.
That's right.
Probably going to earn a couple more viewers tonight with old mate Nick on the couch.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, at least we get his missus. That's an easy win.
Just put this one.
Hang on. For YouTube viewers only, is there some special Chiefs merch on display?
No. This is limited edition run done for myself.
That's the way to do it. If you're the boss, you get to do that for yourself.
No, there is new merch coming out. This is potentially one of them.
Why would anyone buy Chiefs merch? What teams?
I know, it's rubbish.
Come on, mate. It's not.
Oh, we've got
at least they've got a product out.
Actually, they do have a new Counter-Strike roster. Actually,
we do.
Yeah, it's a good little young roster.
Yep.
OPL team's currently tied first.
Yep.
With undefeated.
Yep.
Ian?
Both kicking goals.
Yeah.
So.
What game are you talking about?
Oh, please stop it. We're barely 2 minutes in, Ian.
Already started.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, before we do our usual and completely go off topic, obviously let's have a bit of a chat about let's just go with Chiefs. I think it's good to have obviously the head of the ship here, and obviously yourself taking over that brand as well over the last sort of was it 12 months almost?
Yeah, it's coming up close to a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. Obviously, you've seen that brand develop and developed it a little bit yourself. How's that journey taken you? Obviously, it's not as easy as people think.
No, it's esports life. No, it's been interesting. It's been smoother than I thought it'd be. Obviously, there's certain parts of the business that we had to get across and get through internally, but overall it's been pretty smooth, and looking forward to a big 2020 obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you've taken the brand, I dare say, from strength to strength as well, and managed to still maintain very competitive rosters across the board. Obviously now picking up a very new look CSGO roster.
Yep.
And obviously your OPL team as well, as Sean said, they are sitting up tied first in the OPL. Do you with the landscape sort of changing a little bit over the last 12 months, a lot of rosters are pulling, or a lot of organisations are starting to really reel back their spending and whatnot. Has it been easy to try and, maintain top-level rosters with less expenditure?
No, it's definitely hard. No, I think that's no secret. And, I think it's a good thing that brands are taking a real hard look at, their P&L and their books for a change. Doesn't take a hero to lose money. So
it's just an L, isn't it? There's no P.
Yeah. So I think, across the board, I think we'll see a big change this year. I think we've kind of already started to see that change. And then, I think it's a good thing for the scene. The last couple of years have been pretty obnoxious in terms of spending and where that money could have gone and what that could have looked like in today's climate. If you look at it comparatively, it's a lot of money. So I think you'll find this year will be a lot better.
Yeah, I think, the first sort of signs that we've really seen that start to reel back was probably the IPL making their big announcement that they were sort of no longer propping up their scene with a lot of stipends and funding. It's obviously different in across different games and whatnot. Speaking about the League of Legends roster, you put together a very competitive roster and managed to buck the trend of some of these bigger organizations really falling off.
Yeah, I'll give full credit to Frank. He knows how to put together a good roster, especially in League of Legends, and that's full credit to him on that one. It's definitely not my strong suit in terms of League of Legends. Obviously, I'm a bit of an FPS nerd, so that's more my specialty. But
Same.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Some unearthed talent there as well, and then some up and coming talent, which was, I think, it's kind of come to the forefront now.
Yeah, but I think the point of difference that I've noticed as well is a lot of the other orgs have really tried to, put a lot of their cards into content and whatnot. You guys have been able to diversify a little bit more than just going, hey, the content route. You guys have, put your eggs in different baskets. Is that,
Yeah,
would you attribute that to success?
Yeah, definitely. I think content's good, but if you don't have anyone to watch it, no one cares. At the end of the day, so I don't agree in the idea of creating content just for the sake of it. It has to be meaningful, and you have to have an engagement level there as well. So obviously we do have this focus that'll go back into content, definitely over the next couple of months. But at the moment, it's about making sure the rosters are good, the teams are performing, and we're giving them the best ability to do so.
And you guys have been quite successful as well in forming partnerships outside of the traditional scope. And I'm talking, you've just announced a partnership with Bond University. We've seen you announce your second activation in a shopping centre now in Melbourne, going outside of Brisbane previously. So, you guys are really diversifying the portfolio. How's that shaping up for you? I mean, it's a challenge, isn't it?
Full credit to you guys in particular who have done, you've laid the groundwork for people like us to look towards. It's been good. I think it's been nice. It's been a nice challenge. Obviously, running teams for a long time now, and then getting the opportunity to be on the other side of it and put together something that's more community and grassroots driven. It's actually been a really good change. Definitely challenging. Full credit to you guys that have been in the traps for a long time doing that. But I'm excited to do more and more. I think when it comes to our scene, we're not big enough to rely on the hardcore esports niche. Grassroots should be everything. At the end of the day, that casual and the up and coming kids, it should be about what it looks like for them in 5 to 10 years time. If we don't put any effort into that, then what's the point?
And I mean, on that though, it's also it's another potential revenue stream, right?
Yeah, correct.
So often, we've talked about this before with organizations going that content route and trying to really push sort of partnerships and sponsorships in and around the teams and things like that. But to then create opportunities like you have been for, the organization and players and influencers under your organization to further expand their repertoire and experience and build their own brands as well is definitely something that's quite clever because and another org who's done something similar, obviously, and we've talked about that was Ground Zero with some of their activations in Perth as well, doing great stuff over there. So I think that's something I expect we see more of from teams that start to try and expand their repertoire.
Yeah, I think the one of the most interesting partnerships for me actually, and obviously I've had a little bit to do with the community, was you guys also it was a partnership with a sim racing group, Altus Esports. Obviously a very different space to navigate. Are you finding that to be good to partner with some organizations that are native to other titles to learn a lot from them?
Yeah, absolutely. And I put my hand up, I'm a big noob when it came to the racing world, but obviously Josh, who looks after our marketing, he kind of went head first into it, and the more he explained it to me, the more I'm like why the hell aren't we in this earlier? When you look at it, from like our activation that we did up in Queensland, I'd say 50% of those were dads jumping on, having a crack, try and be the fastest time and smoke their kids. Like the opportunity to get on there, and it's a game where it doesn't have to be a 13 or 14-year-old playing Fortnite. A dad can jump on there and have a crack at it. So obviously the iRacing stuff is a lot more hardcore.
It is. It is very hardcore.
That's real stuff. But it's a great space. I think it's got the opportunity to be really fast moving as well.
I think
no pun.
Yeah, it's a great point of difference as well to what we've talked about. The esports demographic is actually expanding, and obviously will continue to expand as we get older and the demographic continues to grow that way. But with sim racing titles, like who's got the most expendable amount of money? It's usually the parents, of kids that are interested in esports that are the ones actually forking out for it. And if you can spark their interest as well, whether it be through something as simple as like a racing game or a sim racing title.
Yeah. So basically, if you've got 60 FPS, get your dad into a sim racer, and next thing you know, he wants a new machine. Happy days.
That's it. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're running a 300 plus. So
get your parents involved. That's the easiest way to get money for your
it's
your
oldest
own
trick
setup.
in the book. Some other people may have done it. To get with it.
Pointing fingers over here. Get your old man involved in Day of Defeat.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was something I noticed when I was up, because I was up in Brisbane.
Yeah, you attended that one of those activations.
So
You've been getting around.
I've been here and there and everywhere. Been up there. Been up there. A lot of the parents that we ran into, man, it's so different. It's so wild now. You've got parents. These guys are traditionally your NRL kind of supporting, we're in Queensland as well. You know what I mean? It's a big
heart.
It's a big
baby.
And like, instead of hearing these, parents be like, oh no games. It's almost like, we had this one dad in particular who's, obviously he's split with the partner, but has the kids with him every so often, and he's found that by getting in and playing a bit of Fortnite with him, he's been able to build this sort of bond, and for him it's been amazing. It's been something that he shares with his kids that has been able to really sort of create a relationship between him and them that is, man, he raves about it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And hearing that sort of traditional kind of Queensland bloke sort of, with that,
Nothing against Queenslanders,
upbringing.
right?
No. I'm not going there. To sort of, have that kind of approach compared to maybe where it was 3 or 4 years ago, you look at traditional media was really good to see. And it was more than one too. There was a lot of sort of parents there that were.
There's parents that we had there like on the first day. They were there every single day, and then again the next weekend. So we got to know them quite well.
Yeah.
Even like on the racing side, there's one of the kids there that had like really severe autism, and obviously he can't go karting, but so his way of racing was through the sim racing, and like he got on there and he posted the fastest lap like straight away.
Yeah.
And it's just like stories like that, and then talking to the mum and her understanding more about like the game and the esports side, and then her going back and researching and then following us, and then just creating this atmosphere where everyone's included. I think that was just it was a really good eye opener for us as well.
Well, that's a key thing about esports, man. It's inclusion. Like anyone anywhere can get in and have a crack, whether it is racing games, whether it's your MOBAs, whatever it might be that you're sort of interested in, and get an opportunity to play with other people, socialize, be competitive if you want to be competitive. There's pathways and stuff like that these kids can pursue, and it's, I don't know, I took a lot away from that activation. Even just on a personal level, from being involved in the industry as long as I have, and seeing the ups and downs and the different reactions from parents or from media to sort of where it's at these days. It was great. It was really good. Yeah. I actually have a question sort of tying back to some of the stuff we spoke about before with Chiefs, and obviously with yourself coming on board and things like that. Chiefs traditionally has always been a very successful, I'm not talking about the brand, so to speak, but the teams, right? You've always had like top teams, whether it's in CSGO, whether it's in League of Legends, almost any sort of esports title Chiefs compete in, they've always tried to be number one. Now with this change of, I guess, the way that the money is being spent and coming into different teams, and we've talked about OPL and stuff like that, but it's across the board. The days of just throwing cash at something and hoping that it sticks is kind of winning off a bit, and people are now being a bit smarter with the way they invest their money. Have you found that to be a bigger challenge, given the fact that the expectation for Chiefs is to be number one?
Yeah, I think it's challenging. Yeah, absolutely across the board. I think when you're synonymous with winning and performance and
tell me about it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like when that's what you're known for is performance. Obviously that comes with challenges, but then, look at the start of this year. I think we've kind of proved that you don't need to go out there and overspend on the market.
Right.
So I think.
What about even with dealing with the sponsors and partners and stuff like that? Is their expectation had to change or anything like that, or is it like?
No, I think that's also changing a lot in the landscape. It's less about results.
Yeah.
It's about proving your worth. So even like events like these activations that we do.
Yeah.
We could put together a piece of content that gets 1,000 views, or we can do something in a shopping center that has 100,000, 200,000 walk past their branding and exposure. You put those side by side. It's kind of a no-brainer. So
you get those photos too, mate, with the kids, with the player, or you've got Mitch Robinson coming down and things like that as well. And I can definitely see if I'm a brand how that has a lot of value.
Well, it's almost like creating your own packs to attend, right? Like it's
that
same level of brand exposure for Chiefs to. Obviously, not only that, but you've got them. You've got an audience captive. And they're exposed to Chiefs, and they're becoming fans of obviously Chiefs because for some of these kids, as we touched on before, it's a way for them to explain esports and gaming and actually show it and bring along their parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're creating fans not just in the short term, but also in the long term, because if they manage to win over their parents and gaming becomes a little bit more accepted in the household, they're going to look back on that event fondly and go, well, Chiefs did that. And now I'm a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
That's exactly. And I think that's, on that point earlier, it is, getting more difficult for brands, orgs to gain sponsorship. But these points of difference, and you've already built such a strong rapport with not only those brands, but also the shopping centers as well.
Yeah.
When they go and, want something for their school holiday program next time, you guys are front and center because you guys have got proof of concept.
Yeah. I think also just on that, it is, while it's nice to do, it's also, I think it is a really good community aspect as well. There's so many great stories, I think, just across the whole weekend. Like, obviously, we touched on a few before, but you're right. The ability to show parents that it is a real thing as well is also very key. And that'll eventually help grow the scene as well, as much as we can.
Awesome.
We've had a bit of a discussion about some very heartwarming topics there, but now I want to touch on the heartbreak. What was it like having to part ways with Tyler?
Yeah, it's tough.
Because Chiefs to me is like, you think Chiefs, you think Tuck straight away.
Is you crying?
And he's gone. Huh?
Are you crying?
I'm not crying yet.
Yeah.
But
you're crying.
The thoughts, the emotions, the driven.
Well, I mean, it doubles up. Right. So from the FPS side of things, you're 100% right. You think Tyler, you think Tux, right?
Yeah.
But they also had Swiper from the league team as well.
Yeah.
Big face of Chiefs for a very long time.
Yeah.
Heading over, crossing over towards Order now as well and playing with them. And, those sorts of moves. I mean, I know from my experience, even with players like Pabu and Jakey for Avant and things like that, and losing those guys was tough. And I think that when it comes to Chiefs, the whole Tux and Swiper thing is they're almost a bigger part than I can't really tie any other players with any other org that were as synonymous.
It'd be like NRP losing Heaton,
Yeah, I guess the question is, who's next? Is it Chief Tom? Is it one of the other LOL boys?
You can't. They already just got here.
Yeah, well, you got to pick someone. You're the man. I think someone's got to be the man.
Yeah, I think with obviously Tyler departing, that it is a big blow. The issue is obviously the team disbanded, at the end of last year, I think around November. Pretty lucky that it lasted that long, with a few things going on there. And then you come down to the issue with obviously what happens with individual players. Obviously the two boys gone to Avant. They got the two fellas with the VAC bands, and then where does it stand? You either
Still
try and you know what I mean. You either have to rebuild around obviously the two boys with the VAC band, and then what's that team look like? Or there's the opportunity with obviously the up and coming group that we've got now that have obviously, I think they've done a great job throughout 2019.
Yeah.
And our job is to try and build on that. So yeah, it's a big blow, but it's kind of one of those situations where it's very hard to manage what that could look like otherwise, and what another team would look like with Tux and Texture in it at the moment.
I think that's a very fair point that people probably don't think about so much. Is yes, someone like Tux has been a huge part of the Chiefs brand, But in a situation where the team sort of falls apart and you, from a business sense, have to, okay, we need to rebuild a team now, you have to start weighing those things up. Like that VAC ban issue is pretty big. Now, a lot of tournaments don't sort of, they have that 2-year rule, right? Where sort of Tux is still eligible, but you still then miss out on what's, arguably the biggest tournaments in CSGO, which is the minor major stuff. And it's, I don't know, like if I'm just trying to think what I'd do if I'm left with just, Tux and Texter.
Which is a shame because they're two amazing players.
Yeah,
not just amazing players, but Tux even as just a person as well, and even a role model,
absolutely,
for up and coming talent and things like that, and and a face of your brand. He brings so much to the table. But putting yourself in the orgs position, and it's a position I've been in myself. That's a tough one, to really try and rebuild around that, and particularly when players these days they're looking at like the runs that Greyhounds have had into Renegades and things like that through things like good performances at minors and majors and all that kind of stuff. You start to go, well, what do you do? And then you've got this phenomenal team that is unsigned, full of young up-and-comers, like the next generation. It's almost like the time, that as much as it sucks, it was the right time. The time was right, at least from my perspective.
I think the other thing too is, and speaking from like a business perspective, it's testament to the fact that the Chiefs brand wasn't just built around those players.
Yes.
They've actually been able to build a brand with a following that's not going to go, well, we're out of here because Tux is out of here. They're going to stick and watch, Chiefs as a whole. And I think that's very important for a lot of brands out there that maybe, moving into the space, is that they don't create their entire branding around players. And they need their own branding as well.
They need
don't
their
get me
own
wrong,
identity.
you work together and you build each other up. But,
of course.
having that over-reliance on players being your brand or your content, that's very dangerous in a situation where you lose the player or you lose the team or whatever happens. You've got nothing left to lean on. I think Chiefs have been good in that regard of, the league team, post Swiper, they still exist. They still have a reputation.
Yep.
Obviously the CS team as well got a great reputation with the Chiefs name, with the team that has had success that they've been able to build upon steadily. And I think the one thing that I really like about this new CSGO roster for Chiefs is the fact that there's stability.
Yeah.
That's a big factor.
It's proven stability as well, obviously.
Yeah.
I got to have a chat with a couple of the players not too long ago, post them sort of joining Chiefs. And for me, it was, gauging. I wanted to feel out and just gauge sort of where they're at now that they've been signed.
You've been like filling out a few things, even a straightened beard.
I'm here, there, and everywhere, mate. Like I'm saying, yeah.
Is that a straightened beard? Like, did he straighten?
I guess it's like soft, but it's still pretty bristly. It's still pretty tough, Kind of want to ruin it, but I know you do you. Sorry, keep going.
Anyways, so I spoke to some of the Chief CS:GO players, and it's important. And this is a good message for any up and coming player in the scene. And I'm sure Ian can attest to this. Is my concern when you see teams like that get that big opportunity with a big org, is that you get this. Some players get this sense of, oh, we've made it. Like, we've made the big org. If you fall into that trap, you're literally going to end up in a really terrible situation. And what struck me from talking to them is they are hungrier than ever. Yeah. They know that this is not, we've made it, we're in Chiefs. This is, right, we're at step 1 of chapter 2. Yeah. Right? And they've got so much more to do. And the moment that any of them get complacent, they know that it's going to sort of collapse. So they seem to have, good internal leadership amongst the group and a good mindset towards how they're approaching this. I think that's sort of reflective on the fact that they've done so well to get to where they're at without chopping and changing too much. But that's also because they're all on the same page. And, I went fishing. I went to find out which one of the boys has got that sense of they've made it, because in my head, I'm like, right, I want to know who's going to be kicked in 6 months, right? Let's be real. Like, I wanted to know, right?
You wanted that news for the podcast,
yeah,
didn't
you?
you?
Wanted that inside information. But the sense I got was that they're all as hungry as ever, right? And they know that this is just the starting point of the next phase, and they have to push even harder than before now, right? They've got the support behind them. Chiefs have the ability to support them and reward them as they sort of climb the ranks and keep pushing, and they know that, and they know that they need to hustle for it. So I'm really excited to see what these guys can do on the Chiefs. I'm pumped.
And of course, Hugh also has a big name to live up to now.
He does have a big name to live up to.
He does.
Greatest name change in recent history. Was it? I thought it was.
He forced him to double down on it. You called him out on it,
I called him out on it.
and that's in turn
It was
forced him to double
almost
down.
enough, wasn't it, to say that it's all me? Well, okay, I'll take
I just
it.
wanted to,
Jesus.
I just wanted to get him involved somehow.
Yeah, but I did say that it's a bold strategy.
Mhm.
We'll see how it pays off, but I can see why he's done it. But look, I mean, what even is stat? You know, it's okay for him to change it. I thought because he played in the minor, in the IEM Sydney that time, that you can't change it once you do that. But it's only majors and minors, so you can't change the name after.
Was that a thing?
Yeah.
No, because you sign like contracts with Valve and the sticker stuff, and there's like a bunch of things that happen. So
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to chat to you about, Nick, while I've got you here, is one of those partnerships in particular really piqued my interest in that, we've seen Gravitas recently sign a partnership, and it was more around the study aspect of, university and them utilizing esports players for university studies. But your partnership that was recently announced with Bond is a lot more than that. It's actually you working in unison with the university to offer pathways to players.
Yeah, real pathways too. So we're really stoked. Obviously been working through that for a while now. And Gary, who's the head of sports there, he's obviously been around a long time, and for him to believe in esports is a big thing as a rugby head. So
I think he even taught TJ.
he did. He did. So had nice things to say, which is good. But yeah, no, the Bond partnership is amazing. Obviously, there's going to be different levels to it. So there is going to be research. I think that's key. They're one of the people that have put out probably one of the reports that gets thrown around a lot at the moment, probably in every sponsorship deck you've ever seen in Australia the last 12 months.
Seen a lot.
So there's obviously that side to it. There's going to be the education side, so real curriculum and degrees. Not just in playing, but we want to have proper degrees like marketing, law, biz, everything nailed down, and for the opportunity.
Is that with esports units, like esports specific units?
Yeah.
See, that's cool.
Yeah, that is.
That's cool.
And then scholarships as well. So we want the ability to give back where we can as well through scholarship. Obviously, get to be on the Goldie, so that's pretty sweet.
That's not a bad dig, is it?
Not bad.
So with scholarships too, are we talking about Chiefs players getting the opportunity to get scholarships to Bond University? Is that...
Not necessarily just Chiefs players, but people of the community as well.
Right, esports players in general.
Yeah.
See,
So that's why I want to run something where we've got the opportunity to give back. So that's definitely going to be part of it, and obviously things down through like talent ID and obviously utilizing what they've got there. They do have a small esports hub, but we've kind of got lay of the land in terms of how we want it to look and run and how we're going to operate in there as well.
Because that's a real, for me, that's a real power partnership in the sense that you've got a lot of universities that are offering esports programs, but they don't really seem to have, like the expertise in esports that they're bringing on is very new expertise in that, they don't really have the ideas or the experience that you guys would have in actually running a business, an organization from that side of things, whereas a lot of what they would bring to the table, they just don't have that level of experience. So that for me is the real point of difference, is the fact that you've actually got the coming together of esports business and university, as opposed to university trying to birth esports.
Yeah, so it was interesting, like even like every meeting we've had like the heads of faculty from different faculties involved. So it's not like we're just sitting down there trying to run a net cafe out of a university, because that's not the model I would go with. So I think they're investing in it for the right reasons as well. So I think we're really looking forward to the partnership.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see how that develops, and obviously, we're keeping my eye on the QTAC guide to see what OP level entry is required for an esports related degree. And for those of you that are not Queensland native, that is essentially the university guide for courses once you finish year 12. So
it's the entry score, right?
Well, QTAC is the group that do it, but they essentially they're the gateway for students into university.
Right.
OP score is how you still rank yourself.
We got ATAR here, yeah.
The
You have
ATAR,
ATAR
SAT,
here.
and stuff like that.
Yes, same thing. It's essentially the same thing. It's just obviously focused on Queensland.
Yeah.
That being said, though, obviously Bond University, while they're based on the Gold Coast, they have a huge pool. And actually, one of the interesting things to me is the fact that, from my understanding with Bond, is their relationship with Asian countries as well is so strong.
Yeah, I think they're one of the largest like international from international students in particular. So yeah, obviously that's going to help as well.
Yeah, that is, and that's going to be.
We need a jungler, by the way, for the OCS roster. So anyone,
How dare you come on my couch and talk about that?
I'm sorry, sir.
We have a huge crowd of just OCS level league players that tune in. So
They're all travel banned at the moment.
I've been jungling a lot.
yeah,
I've
got
heard about
bronze 2
these.
today.
I've heard about
Submit
these
your
league
resume.
games. There's a bit of an in-house.
We actually played a 10-man
non-leagues.
the other day.
Yeah,
It was real fun too.
can we not talk about those?
Yeah, Sean got absolutely fucked on.
I thought
I won both
he
of
was
them.
the best ADC out.
Yeah, I am.
Self-proclaimed.
But to be fair, I made a few mistakes in these.
You tilted Jordan in the first 3
one-
minutes.
I tilted Jordan in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
To the point that he says, I'm going to go AFK, right? Because I didn't pick for those who know League, I didn't pick my summoners. So I was playing ADC and I went in with like Cleanse and Exhaust or something, and that doesn't go well for those that know. And then the second game, I actually didn't even pick my hero, and I got randomed onto Garen, which is like a top laner.
Do you just feel sick right now?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
did all right on for a first time
just
top
feel-
lane.
feel the,
First
like,
time
it wasn't
my
the
eyes.
worst.
I just
Thank
feel
you.
it
Thank you.
burning.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking funny. It was like, why the fuck is Sean locked in Garen? I'm on the other team. And everyone's like, what the hell? And then at the end of the game, they're like, yeah, he got auto-filled.
You guys are like speaking in hieroglyphics for me. I have no idea what you're
Garen?
talking about.
We're on the same page.
All right, well, cool. We'll leave you guys on your same page. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Fuck these guys.
I mean-
Yeah, fuck
play
'em.
some League later.
yeah.
All right, you guys form your own little like,
Social
Us
club.
gingers look
League
after
of
each
Legends
other.
Red Team or whatever
Gingers
you want to
only.
call it.
The red team.
You right, Ian? You good over there?
I'm good, man. Why?
Yeah, sweet. Just checking in.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, I think it's great to have obviously Nick on the couch and his expertise and whatnot.
It's all right, I guess.
You're not feeling the heat at all, mate.
Christ. Yeah, I didn't even know you existed until like 2
Yeah, I
minutes
know.
ago.
Yeah.
You just
When we
fucking
stop
shit
talking
in,
business,
yeah,
I'll
it's
jump
like,
in. You
fuck,
know?
where is he?
You feel,
TJ's meant
not
to
feeling
get
the
your
heat.
beer.
Yeah, come. A bit dry, mate.
Show it to the camera.
Oh, he's gonna walk behind the camera.
that's
This
a
guy.
shame.
What are you doing?
He's gonna be in frame,
You could
ready.
do like-
Show the camera your great idea.
You should, yeah.
Quickly.
You should have done like a thick shot.
So for those who are watching or listening on Spotify, you don't get to see this. That's unfortunate for you.
Question mark. Yeah.
Essentially, he's put beer on his phone in big text. But the real thing here is this actually says beer in big text. So you didn't need that. When it gets down to there, that's when he needs a new one.
But you're gonna have to. Can you blur that out? We don't want brands on our podcast.
Yeah,
that
usually
aren't
you
paying
guys,
for it.
I don't know, maybe
Exactly.
free
That is-
advertising will bring them
Just
in. You know,
wrap 'em and
you got
stuff.
Bud
where's-
Light on. What?
Do you hear that? Perfect. That's a great segue into not only just another beer, but also a special thank you to our sponsor, Skrilla, who have been supporting us since the very start of the podcast, which is awesome. They're an Australian esports betting company, and they have been, as we said, awesome in supporting us. So please return that support if you're looking to have a punt on esports. And remember, gamble responsibly. Now, gentlemen, I'm going to let Nick go because he's just been rehydrated, but he was feeling the heat. Every time you do that, it's
a big
Mac
joke.
ASMR. But it's been great to have you on the podcast, Nick. Obviously, very excited to see what's on the horizon for Chiefs, and you've given us a little bit of insight into, obviously the direction that you're taking. But any final words? It's not like we're
Oh, are we letting him off the hook? Because I know
Well-
there's some topics coming up.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
I thought I was
Okay.
sitting here because we're keeping the whole couch.
yeah. We're just done with the business.
No.
Nick, it's
you're
your
not
call.
going
Now we
anywhere,
get down
bro.
to
Nicky, you
dirty.
in or are you out?
I mean,
Oh, there you go.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Boom.
All right.
Okay.
So
awesome.
say goodbye to business, Nick.
So
Yeah.
Jim, shut up, move on.
No, Matt, can you do that cool edit thing where you hit that record screech, rewind? Anyway, it turns out Nick's staying with us. And we've got some topics to get through today. Now, gentlemen, IEMEO and Bingo was his name-o in September. In
Is it September?
August.
Thought it was
Last
late
year.
August.
August.
late August, September? I don't know.
It's August.
I said we'd go with September because
It
it,
might have been
wasn't. It wasn't on the first episode or two, and it would have been in September.
Well, do you remember 21st night of September?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Every time. We
Well,
partied.
obviously,
This is why I left.
this is true, actually.
Why are you back?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
obviously, IEM moving to Melbourne, huge news.
Predictable news.
Predictable news, but news nonetheless. Now,
I did call it
yeah,
last year.
Is that an I or a we? Because I feel like that's kind of like a we.
I could tell from the way that my boy Carmack was talking to me.
That's true.
He was sending me a message. And he said,
didn't he just laugh?
That was Twitter. That was because he saw the video. He looked deep into my eyes and he said, "Thank you for everything." And didn't say, "See you next year." Didn't say goodbye. I was like, it's not coming back to Sydney. And I was right. So there we go. Huh?
You were right because they weren't coming back to Sydney.
He's always going to get the last laugh because he's just going to watch what I say and then he's going to do the opposite because he has the power.
Now, the interesting thing for me was the fact that obviously they managed to keep all sponsors happy whilst integrating with MEO.
Yeah.
Which for me was always going to be interesting because obviously you've got global sponsors that come with IEM as a package deal, and some of those potentially are taking up space that local sponsors have paid for.
So from a business point of view, you have to say well done to ESL and ESL Australia for maintaining it and also for tying it in with MEO because that can be a fantastic opportunity.
And tying the ticketing in.
I think the key thing for that though is you've got with MEO you've got whole separate stadiums. So you've got the Rod Laver Arena, but then you've got Margaret Court.
If it's still called that in September.
Well, I mean, who knows? Is this another prediction? But you've got the separate arenas. So if you're IEM and you've got your big international sponsors, right? They've got all their bannering and all their stuff up in whichever arena they're in. Meanwhile, the MEO sponsors, the local sponsors or whoever involved with that, whether they're internationals as well, will have all their stuff plastered all over the arena that's sort of hosting the MEO stuff. So obviously OPL finals have been announced there as well. So because you've got those separate arenas, I think that makes it easier.
Do you think the audience translates? Like if you're a CS:GO head,
yeah,
and you know what IEM's like every year, are you gonna walk next door?
Absolutely not.
No, I
will now.
Well, I barely spent any time.
Look, we
you know what I mean? Like people go there for the.
We saw this last year with MEO. We saw this when so we had one of the league teams from is it Golden Guardians, was it? Yeah, Golden Guardians from the States were here. And MEO decided to do their signing session on the same day as the Overwatch finals after all the league stuff had finished.
It was the next day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the following day. And I'll never forget, this poor Golden Guardians signing session had nobody at it. Nobody came.
That's pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
No, they're a big name. And that's obviously because it doesn't translate.
It doesn't. No, if people who would go for the league stuff, go for the league stuff.
Yeah.
You won't. But to be fair, that being said, like I know IEM Sydney, I see a lot of league people there. I see a lot of Overwatch or Rainbow Six people or whatever. IEM Sydney traditionally did bring everyone together. Did bring a lot of the
because it was an esport event. It wasn't a Counter-Strike event, right?
Yeah. But now that it's sort of partnered up at MEO, I'm not sure if I think we'll get some of the sort of I guess league fans and stuff like that will plug into IEM. They'll come across and watch IEM.
But not if there's league
as well. Did you see the ticketing? Did you see the ticketing video with Jordan and Ben earlier?
No.
So it's gonna be
pretty plain, mate. That's what I'm gonna say.
Shut up. All right. Anyway. No, so the video was them on a plane, pretending to be on a plane. That was just for the uninformed. Anyway, there's going to be like different tiers of ticketing all across the board. There's going to be like general admission where you can go to like most arenas, but you can't go to the arena for IEM. And then IEM will have its own normal ticketing, which allow you to like different areas. And then for OPL as well, you need to buy another ticket if you want good seating. So there's just going to be like different general admission areas to the look of it. But no matter what you get, I think you'd get like access to all of MEO.
Right. My instant response to that, without thinking about it too much, and just off the cusp, is I hate it. That's terrible.
Because there's a lot of tiers.
Do you know why? It's because it's 2 days.
Yeah,
you've got 2 days of IEM, but then 2 days obviously to fit everything else in as well. Honestly, that is going to be a big teller as to whether it translates or not, because people are going to have to pick.
Well, I guess if you just want to go to watch the OPL finals, you'll like this system because you can just buy an OPL finals ticket and you don't have to spend the money on an IEM ticket or the other stuff, and away you go. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm not too worried. I'm probably going to get a Twitch pass or something, anyways.
That's what it boils down to. Yeah, boys, I'm going to go for free, so I don't really care,
Well, I think the biggest dilemma now is the scheduling, right?
That is
the player break for the CS:GO guys.
Because that was the 15th, and then people fly in.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
next
like
day.
it would basically be the first week after the player break.
Yeah.
So, Yanko was talking about FaZe would, if they wanted to prac for this event, they have to.
So what you're saying
cut
is
their-
we can win.
Well, yeah, basically.
Yeah, if teams
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
if there's
beautiful.
just Australian teams there,
If
then
teams don't cut their schedule, like their break schedule short, there's no one running into this with practice. Now, the interesting thing for me was post IEM was the fact that ESL's Pro League was starting Group A.
Yeah.
Now, not a lot of this would be known, but basically the teams that the top tier teams that were invited to ESL Pro League know that season of Pro League starts 3 days after IEM finishes for NA.
Yeah.
So those players are going to have to fly back if they get the practice.
Oh, they'll get back
IEM.
on the same day though. So technically, it's 4 days.
Well, yeah, but the point being is that it's they don't know what group they're in either. So they don't know if they have to go back early or whatnot because they just know that Group A starts.
Yeah.
Is there still the whole Grand Slam thing? The Intel Grand Slam?
Yeah, it's part of the Grand Slam.
Still
Yeah, and
I think.
IEM Melbourne is part of the Grand Slam, right? So, I mean, that's still got a pretty big appeal to
Yeah,
it.
but if you're FaZe,
16
you don't give a
teams.
shit about the Grand Slam yet. Like,
yeah, I
maybe
don't
then,
know.
maybe by then,
Maybe then
but-
they do. That's what I'm saying. Like that could be one where you look at, and if there's other, big competitive teams that aren't going to go because of
Well, even last year with Australis not coming, it made the whole event a little bit underwhelming. Fnatic was in a very bad period.
Yeah.
MRBR was struggling as well,
Yeah,
and I think, it was just.
well,
Liquid won it pretty easily. Basically, it was
Yeah.
a pretty underwhelming IEM in terms of the level of Counter Strike.
Competition, yeah.
both the Aussie teams didn't make the stage,
Yeah,
which was really, really.
But
Greyhound were close.
they were very
So
close.
They
Yeah.
were so close.
I expect this time around though, and I don't want to jinx it, but I expect to see 100 Thieves and Renegades on the stage.
It's a big ask.
It is a big ask.
We'll see who comes. That's what we need to see.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well, I think we can
It
lock
depends on
FaZe
the
in
field.
because Yanko wouldn't be that grumpy if FaZe wasn't planning on coming.
Could they
That's what
could
I
they not
think.
come to Australia early,
Well, they don't want to cut their
as in like a holiday?
Come have a holiday in Australia.
It's
a
not
good
the
way-
worst. It's not the worst place to have a
ESL
holiday.
will pay
No.
for all of it.
Well, at the
basically.
moment, a lot of holiday locations are burning and flooding, so
True.
we're safe.
But we
Really.
need tourism, Max.
Yeah,
So
Mel-
why are you
Yeah,
discouraging?
all right, yeah, sorry. Pretend I didn't say that. Come over. You might die, but it's all right.
Well, Melbourne's actually pretty
It's
good.
gonna
I
be
remember
wet as hell
last
in
time
September.
when I spoke to Get Right about it post the event last time. Actually, it was just after the group stages, I
Mate,
think.
what
And I
It
was
was
having a
after
chat.
circles are you
Forget
in?
Hey.
It was after Forget Right. Yeah.
No, so I was having a chat with him just about what is he like what's it like being in Sydney? Do you enjoy it and things like that? And actually, his response to me, no, it's garbage. I go, what do you mean? He goes, we can't go out anywhere. I walked out of a club like 30 centimeters and then realized I left something back inside. And they wouldn't let me back in because of these lockout laws. Then the only places I can go to is we do group stages and there's bloody gambling there, right? Like pokie machines. And then everyone ends up at the casino afterwards because there's nowhere else to go out. The players have dropped so much money on bloody gambling. Like he actually hated it. He didn't like that. Now
Yeah.
with Melbourne, to be fair,
He just
Sydney's
wanted to have a
actually
good time, but there's nowhere to
But the
go.
Melbourne, the casino's much more accessible.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but in Sydney now it's changed, right? Lockout laws have changed, things have changed, right? But for them at the time, it was
Well, we were a bit of a laughing stock.
it was garbage.
Nanny
he
state.
didn't
Mate,
like
try
it.
living here.
He felt like the players were being forced into situations to gamble, right? Melbourne
Yeah, pretty
is
much.
going to be a better experience for the players.
He would have hated the Crown event, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah, he would have.
Mm.
I think Melbourne will be a better experience for the players, though. I think there's obviously more stuff to do, more nightlife, more opportunities outside.
You don't
of
even
just
have to go
being-
to Crown.
No, you don't. You
Simple
don't.
as
You
that.
don't in Melbourne, right? You've obviously got the quite famous now GG Easy Bar, which
Dropped it.
It's going to be so packed.
I know it's gonna. Be
I'm
good.
not
The
even-
line's going to be down the road.
Forewarning right now, League of Legends players own that bar. Like you can't. When what was it? PAX was on.
Yeah.
When PAX was on, it was the same time as the stupid PL, whatever it is, finals, and you
EPL.
couldn't get into GG Easy Bar until that shit game had finished. And so everyone who had just come from PAX, who was a real game player, like FPS, they were stuck outside in the line. And as soon as they, I can't remember
You
what
were
it's
just
called.
mad at the order party, weren't you?
As soon as that game was finished, we got in easily.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that. And IEM is obviously going to be CS and League of Legends. So good luck to you getting in.
Choose your fighter.
Yeah.
Fortress.
Well, Fortress will be open by then.
Oh, great.
Yes, and we'll all have our merchandise, and we'll be lining up out the front there waiting as well.
Is this a segue? Are we?
Yeah, fuck it.
Is it too early? Yeah, fuck it. We hung on just for too long.
Boys.
All right, so recently, and I say recently, literally on Tuesday. Tuesday was the day for shit going down on Twitter. I don't know. IM was announced. Whole heap of things. It was
Conky deactivated.
well, Gucci.
Was that Tuesday?
Gucci Mane?
Oh yeah, it was.
Love
That's
you,
right. That's
Conky.
when
This
everything
was like the Tuesday of
I love
Gucci
it, Conky.
Mane.
Fuck the
Gucci
haters.
Mane for
At
Girl
Girls
Gamer.
Gamer Fest. And even Fortress were announcing merchandise. Now they have not had a single person through their doors yet, and they're already announcing merchandise. Would you ever consider buying that?
Oh, I'm
Like, for a
super
place?
excited. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to get my sick Fortress merch.
Are you
Gonna,
involved
like,
with
wear it
Fortress somehow?
around.
Like,
It's going to be really, really, really good. Like, you know, who wouldn't want to represent a Fortress t-shirt?
I don't know, man. I'm like showering in your sarcasm right now. Showering in it. But I don't know, man. Now, this is a big no-no. It's trying to monetize a community.
Pre-gate.
Yeah, that you don't even have yet, right? Like,
Yeah.
you've literally never had anyone walk through your door.
There's a lot of hype.
I hope their revenue.
they didn't even whoever their
driver is not
social media
merchandise.
person is just clearly didn't understand either.
No.
Where I'm just like,
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
I love how you jump straight to the social media person too.
Just like,
I feel like Jess is going to feel super attacked by that.
yeah, it's just I tried to help.
Social
But-
media pitchforks.
Yeah, it was just like sign up to my OnlyFans. I haven't made it yet, but you know it's going to be good. And then I retweet the Fortress. We're selling merch. I'm like, do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see the correlation?
Is it really?
But it just went.
like, honestly, for me, it feels like it is the cart before the horse.
Yeah, it is 100%.
I
So-
mean, look, to be fair,
It's the
You're
cart
dead
before
right.
the big bang because
It's-
I mean we don't even know the horse is going to be any
No, we're
good.
trying
Nah,
to dress.
nah,
We're
I
trying to
feel
dress
like
the horse before
The
it's done
best
anything.
marketing strategy they could have done is sell Fortress Gamer Water from flooding over the last couple of days. It would have gone so much better.
But that's
And it would have been a meme.
in Sydney. Melbourne hasn't had any.
Did Melbourne not have any rain?
No.
I just assumed all Sydney,
honestly, unless
all
their
fucking
basement's
Australia
flooded.
was
that's
raining.
so Sydney.
Yeah, so
We get a bit of rain here. Oh, all of Australia is flooding. It must be everywhere.
all I saw was pictures of flooded
it's
shit
Queensland
everywhere.
as
I just
well.
assumed it was
Well,
all over the
you're
place.
just trying to take a dig at us. We're selling
Well-
merch now because we had a flood.
Yeah, well, we should. What do you know?
Yeah, we could
Did
sell-
you save some of that water?
no.
No,
ring,
damn.
ring out some towels.
I've got some mushies growing in the
Can we
house
please move
from my
away
walls.
from Game of Water? I mean, on this
Are
one.
we-
Hang on.
Look,
But just on that
I
Fortress
don't know if
thing,
I've been propositioned or not.
I've seen some people wear GGeasy merch now. Shut up, Chip's gone down. I've seen some people wear some GGeasy merch. I've seen that. I've seen the little badges, the little shirts and stuff.
they've been.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm going to
Yeah.
say.
They
They've
built the brand first.
They've built a sick brand. There's like it's synonymous with Melbourne events and things like that. Then they release that stuff, and they've got their little streamers and stuff, and they do their
Little
selfies
streamers.
And,
They-
well,
They
streamers
they
and
they have
stuff.
good content team.
Yeah,
Game of
exactly. Right.
But
Game of Water.
I
Spelt
mean,
it all there myself again. It's alright.
look at me. I mean,
It was
I
worth it.
obviously don't understand merch. I don't have much gaming merch unless it's been given to me through Teams. And I'm the guy that, you know, the report that's like the average esports person spends $1 on merchandise a year, like on average. That me.
That's me. He's bought something in the
They've
50
interviewed
years he's
just
been
you.
involved.
Yeah, like I think the
Just you.
last gaming thing I bought was like a funk pad, but you guys wouldn't even know what that is. So
I know what a funk pad is. Did you get the reversible one?
I got the purple and orange one.
Yeah.
Had to get that because that's what Davio had. Man. Had to
Yeah. Did you get
had
the
to get on their level.
mouse skates as well?
Got the mouse skates, the hyper glides. Yeah, I was there. Okay,
Yeah, you went nose
I was
first.
on cutting edge. Anyway,
You were
look
still
at
a
me
little
now.
wet behind the ears, but
Yeah.
you were nose first into the merch, right? But yeah, look, I don't know. I don't see that being.
I don't get it. Is there? Am I
hugely
missing something? Is there like a
successful.
big? Is merch like the thing to do now?
100%. If you do merch properly, if you look at teams like 100 Thieves who sell out their entire drop in literally 30 seconds, if you look at teams like Liquid who do drops and stuff like that as well, you talk about the revenue stream that these guys create off this stuff, massive.
Yeah,
But
So-
they had brands before.
No, I know, but we're not talking about that right now. We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about merch in general.
I think the
here.
best,
general.
the best,
Okay.
like grassroots merch I've seen is Order when they started doing their black shirts with the little tiny little one.
Yeah, and that went well. And I mean,
Streetwear?
that wasn't even to the level that it
That
could
was
be at.
before the that was before the brand, really.
Well, I mean-
but they made a brand off the merch. Like I don't see how like anyone else can.
Even-
that's
I
a
still used to
reasonable
like
way
the
to look at
Chiefs.
things.
You know the Chiefs baseball jackets.
The Bombers.
The varsity jacket.
Yeah, whatever it was, varsity jacket. That was
Yeah.
the first bit of
That was pretty
esports merch
popular.
I bought. At
I think everyone
IEM
wanted one of those.
2017, 16,
Some of
whatever
us-
it was.
Some of us got
But that's
given
my
one.
point, right? If you look
I
at
got
Order's
ESL one.
merch, Ian, right?
Yeah.
All that was a pretty decent quality shirt with like a sort of logo stamped on it and maybe like some seam coloring, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't too technical. It was actually very basic,
Mhm.
but it got lapped up. That tells me that there is a market for esports merchandise, even here locally. And imagine if you were to do something like that, but do it like
Yeah,
to the next
that's a
level,
great
right?
point. And
So-
like the thing with esports merch prior to that was literally just team jerseys, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And like you're not going to go out on a Friday night if
Wearing
you-
it. No.
wearing like
Absolutely
an esports HyperX
Mm.
jersey or whatever it is. You're not going to even get into some places with
No.
it, to be honest.
It's funny you
And you
mention
want
that.
you want people.
I was just thinking about Subby in Ukraine.
But there's also a certain, I don't know, like a coolness that goes with it, right? So if someone knows that, for example, you're wearing a Chiefs shirt, right?
Yeah.
Just take the shirt
Yeah.
you got on there. Someone notices that you're wearing a Chiefs shirt, you know that they know,
Yeah.
right? And it's not slapped with like esports branding. It's literally your more traditional
Or
shirt.
any branding. It just says Chiefs.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
got the logo
Got a
there.
little logo there too.
Yeah, but sorry, sponsor branding.
Yeah.
Correct. It's not like slapped with anything but sponsor branding.
It's all over it.
But,
I'm here, boys.
you
I'm
know,
taking a cut.
if you know, yeah, okay. Well, noted.
Mm.
What?
No.
Don't-
Continue on.
Don't say it. I know where you're going with that. Stop. All right.
Now, yeah, look, I think they missed the mark. I think they've.
Is it because they're shit? Like it's. Whoa. Tell us how you really feel. No, is it because the merch looks shit, or was it because
I don't
it's just
even-
what is Fortress?
I didn't even
like
look
what
at-
is Shade.
I didn't even look at the merch. It honestly doesn't even.
Well, look, I think Ian's actually onto something there. There's not much. Stop.
Grey hair
Yeah.
incoming.
Jesus Christ.
There's not much thought behind the design. It is literally a logo slapped onto a black shirt.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
That is it.
No,
That is like boom.
yeah.
Let's just send it. Right. Like, and that mentality behind your merch is so. If we want to talk about merch within like the esports and sort of gaming culture, huge market there if done properly and done right. If you want to talk about just slapping a logo on a black shirt before you've actually released anything and done anything and then just sending it out there, garbage.
Mm.
Garbage for so many reasons.
They got like 3,000 followers or something, don't they? I don't know.
No, they don't.
380? I saw a 3.
What do they got?
There's definitely a 3.
1,381.
There you go.
Yeah, there's
There
a
you
tray
go.
in there.
There you
Nice.
go.
Well done,
That's-
Ian.
But I just pulled it up to have a quick look because I didn't pay a huge amount of attention to it.
Now, my understanding is
today.
they actually,
But
went and
just-
paid for a photo shoot and blah blah blah
there's
blah
a
blah. Whatever it
backpack.
is.
Is there a back?
What do you reckon, Nick?
Would you wear the backpack?
Where's my next
Probably not.
generation of Chiefs merch?
It's coming, mate.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hot.
Yeah, I'd get the backpack. I can put all my teammates in it.
Oh,
shit.
Damn.
No, I think it's just weird creating merch before the brand.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
it hasn't really, nothing's happened yet. Maybe
Yeah.
like, 6 months, a year time once.
Yeah.
Like GG Easy, like you said before.
it's the approach.
they've taken the time to actually engage with the community.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, like it's not that Fortress hasn't tried to do that through social media, but that's all they've tried to do because they don't
Yeah.
have a physical venue. There's no touch points. You can't go in.
You wouldn't even know it was
Do you reckon?
Melbourne.
Do you reckon they've spent $350,000 on marketing?
Wow. Do you
Oh,
see
what
your-
another segue!
Do you
Wow.
see yourself as a mogul?
I
Ian?
like to think that sometimes I am. Yeah.
GG, man.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool. And it was only 259K
Oh,
on
sorry.
marketing
I was
this quarter.
You could be forgiven.
just threw an extra 100K in there. Why not? It's esports, right?
We like that's the thing, right? If I had 259K in marketing spend, I haven't seen them once in my Facebook feed. You know
Bro,
what I mean? You know when
I haven't-
Give me some
Bro,
paid
Bro, if
advertising,
you had that,
motherfucker.
if you had that much in marketing spend, Ian would never have to pay rent ever again.
Because I'd buy a house.
not in Sydney,
Yeah,
You're not in Sydney. No.
No.
you might get some
Caddyshack.
asbestos
Well, I was going to
shack.
say, like 250K on marketing. I haven't seen any Mogul merch.
Well, that's a quarter, right?
The thing that
that's
people
a
were
quarter.
saying was
Yeah.
No,
like,
hold
so,
on,
I mean,
well,
that's a quarter.
That
back.
was a quarter.
That's
Yeah,
their
that's
quarter
a quarter.
results.
Oh, okay.
No, that's-
and no one knew about WESG.
Oh my
Well,
god.
Someone
no one
quote
knew.
tweeted that. It was amazing.
Yeah, someone
4 teams. What a fucking
I
shit show.
retweeted that. I saw that, and it was like the funniest thing was you literally had one side of it
50K
going, well,
thing.
they were responsible for the platform, they were responsible for the marketing. We just ran and we just threw the admins in, and they were literally just pointing fingers at each other. So, yeah, exactly.
Are we going to do
Spider-Man.
this every week?
It was the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
But look, Mogul's quarterly results have been released. Let's just say, look, flattering is not the term I would use for it.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't. And now, do you know why?
What would be the term you'd use for it, Jim?
Horrific.
That's better.
Worse than G-Fin.
Hang on.
Actually, it was.
I went there.
Not that I know, actually, but point being, spend this quarter on Mogul's stats. 259K on marketing, 209 on tournament operations. Now, keep in mind, they don't operate solely within Oceania.
Yeah.
But again, they're not really making a splash globally. Like, 'cause, we'd hear about it, right? At least one of us on this couch
Yeah.
Do you reckon
would have heard about
What
something.
if better they're hitting grassroots though overseas?
How
What
much
do you
money they're
reckon?
paying all those
I don't know,
those
man.
brands that they have
I'm
deals
trying.
with?
I'm reaching.
Your
I'm
alliance-
trying.
Alliance, how much of Alliance are taking that 209K or that 259K? Man, Alliance are making a bank. 317K on
Quarter
staff
too.
costs.
Oh.
How many staff do they have? I have no idea.
Hopefully no more than 3.
But I know that they've probably got some people that are, relatively expensive to keep.
Yeah.
Line in the pockets.
Some of those names that I've seen.
Well, they've got some esporters. They do have Brucey, and he's been around for a long time.
They've got some really old school esporters.
Yeah.
But this is a quarter, Sean. This is not a
I
year.
know.
I think I saw something. Was it
Ooh.
like 50 grand for the year or something? Revenue?
Yeah, 59K
With $1 million in the hole?
for
Yeah.
revenue.
But everyone was talking them up recently because they just did a round of funding, and didn't they pull in something like was it
Yep.
15 mil? Or what the fuck was it?
I think their valuation was 17 mil.
I think they just raised 4 mil, just
4
under.
mil.
Yeah,
It was,
right, off
yeah.
that,
mil.
yeah,
So
yeah.
three
Off
something.
valuation. That's right.
So 317K on staff costs, 384K on admin and corporate. Those are some expensive staples. One of the gold-plated ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ian, you're part of like the corporate world and things like that. Have you seen those sort of 24-karat gold staples before? Or
No.
no?
We don't use staples. Oh, I guess we do, but they're in the printer, so we don't worry about it.
245K on some IP, which is
Yeah.
obviously, that. Let's just
In a quarter.
in a quarter.
These are some big numbers.
These are some
for-
big
for 3
acquisitions.
months, right?
If you're paying 245K for some IP across the quarter, you're acquiring something that's obviously of worth. Now,
That's the thing. This is a big.
So you're talking about 800K a quarter, really?
Yeah.
All up,
Yeah.
yeah.
of acquisitions.
And it's
I like how the
investment
wording
though,
is
right?
245,000 on some IP.
Mm.
Like the word "some" in there.
I just got some fucking IP.
Yeah,
that's-
that's
IP
honestly-
here, got some
A little
IP
bit
there,
here, a little bit here.
That's
So-
the Cliff's Notes.
The
Yeah.
reason we know these numbers, or the reason people are able to get their hands on these, is because these guys are a publicly listed company, right?
Correct.
So they have to report these numbers. So these aren't speculated. Like, these aren't speculative numbers. These are the actual quarterly.
Yeah, this is the
numbers
actual
from
report.
The actual report, which is like for a quarter.
But also, you got to remember, Mogul is just like a relatively new startup, and so you could consider this to be investing in the future,
Yeah.
which is what all like.
But then tournament sites aren't, you're not reinventing the wheel
Yeah, no, of course.
of automated competitive.
Mm.
Oh, you are if you're making your own system to do it instead of leveraging off other systems.
That's true. That is true. But their platform is already up and running. This is not development costs. That
Wow.
are
This is
significant.
ongoing
This is
costs.
ongoing maintenance and potentially some
Yeah.
tweaks here and there. So, obviously 317K on staff cost. The time you add in, UX designers, they're bloody expensive, by the way.
Yeah.
If you've got a couple of those guys on your book, so it could be potentially some inflated costs there. But I mean, we're not seeing obviously we sit on the esports side of things. Their operations aren't sitting within any of our field of view.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the thing for me, right? They're sitting in this market as a player, but nothing is filtering through even to the local
I see
level.
a couple of things here and there. Wasn't Mogul involved with the big Fortnite tournament somehow? Am I talking out of my
At
ass?
AO?
Yeah, no,
No.
was AO the big one?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I know that they were involved with obviously WESG's operations.
Are you talking about maybe like clicks thing?
No, they weren't in that.
No, I
either.
don't think they were in
No,
that
okay.
either. No, yeah.
Well, see.
So I think actually, like, back to Jim's point as well, and the more I think about it, the more it's like, okay, cool. We haven't really seen any marketing or anything. I don't even know of anyone like within the industry, within our reach, who's like even being paid by them to do anything. Right. So where is this money going?
Well,
Like,
okay.
They got overseas operations.
Jog
right?
your
Was it
memory, Sean.
Singapore.
Jog your memory. In your time with Avant, wasn't there a partnership with Mogul?
Yep.
Wasn't that an arrangement to make
there
some
was
tournaments?
there was no money that exchanged hands. So
Seems fair.
So what that was at the time was these guys came to us. They have this platform. They're like, cool, we want to do some stuff. If you guys can, I think we pushed an Apex tournament through them.
So it was an esports.
Oh,
partnership.
that old chestnut.
Yeah. So basically our job was to, that's right. It's all coming back to me. So what we did is we ran
It's like Celine Dion.
they ran a tournament, but we sort of were just there. And the prize for this tournament was if you won, we'd pick up your team. You get to be
Right. No, I remember that one. Yeah.
Didn't
AV
Legacy did
Apex
the same
team.
thing, right?
They did Fortnite, I think,
That's
through
right.
them, right?
Yeah.
So, but like there was no money exchanging hands. There was like an offer of like anyone who signs up, if they end up spending money on the platform later, you get a cut of that
There's
or
a rev
something,
share.
whatever that was. But I remember the tournament being a bit of a disaster though. So they'd run some in the past, and they had sort of their own sort of idea and understanding of how it was to be run.
Which was dog shit because it was before custom servers. Because Apex
Yeah.
should have been a fucking great esport, but then EA fucking ruined the
Yeah,
game
they
by
did.
not updating it and giving its custom servers.
And
I
there's-
was really angry about that because
Oh,
I
man,
was
so
I was like, Apex is where
Yeah,
I'm
good
going.
at-
This is
this
gonna be
is
sick, and then
yeah.
it fucked up. So
But
Okay.
on that though
So,
as well,
anyway.
I thought it
the-
was trash.
there was cheaters. There was like all sorts of like it was a shit show.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
Oh man.
So I don't think that AV has done anything else with them since.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I don't
anything.
think AV is
That's Legacy
taken
as well, right? 'Cause
cent- yeah, Legacy. Well, Legacy did a Fortnite thing, which was a
Yeah.
similar sort of process, but at least Fortnite had some kind of. Oh, did they have servers back then?
no.
Nah, but you had the
It's-
offline. Was it Playground or whatever it was? Or I don't
So it
know.
wasn't that. The thing was, though, right? So they've tried operations with local organisations. It's literally been one and done. I haven't
Yeah.
seen any ongoing
But-
partnerships. I haven't seen any ongoing announcements of tournaments. I literally haven't seen anything in the last quarter.
So what? But I mean, exactly right. This is within the quarter.
Yeah.
And I mean, if this is like, I know for a fact AV didn't see a cent. Like they weren't
Mm.
paid anything. There was no like agreement or anything like that. The idea was run this through them and then potentially get some rev share in the future from anyone who signed on
Mm.
board. I imagine the exact same deal was put forward in front of Legacy. I'm not going to speak for them though. Maybe they saw some money, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
Which then leads to this now. What has happened in the last quarter within our region? I think the key point we need to sort of come back to, and I know Nick's brought it up, and we sort of all brought it up, is that they aren't just in Australia.
No.
So they are doing stuff overseas. And from my memory, from having a chat with them, that was all pretty big.
Bargain.
Like the stuff they had
Mm.
going overseas was pretty big, but I haven't seen any of it.
Well,
don't
I know, like, for
I
example,
just
Sure,
I just opened up the website.
they're
So
working with
there's-
Alliance.
There's a
Mm.
LOL tournament in Brazil.
Yep.
There's a COD 4 tournament.
Does it
There's
show
a
how many teams are
next
signed up to
tournament.
it?
It's I haven't even looked at that
More than
part
four
yet.
than four.
Four?
But
We
they
get four in
they
the chat.
constantly offer the however many thousand
Razor
Razor
points.
Silver.
Yeah.
Razor Silver as the
Right.
prize pool.
So
currency.
it's pretty well known that
Razor's
Razor is
invested.
back,
right?
right? And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
through, I'm pretty sure this platform, Razor's obviously creating their own ICO as well. And honestly, blockchain is a bit of a weird thing for me. I'm not going to speak on blockchain's behalf, but creating their own, I guess, virtual currency is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone's more informed on that topic than me, but basically, it's pretty clear to me that obviously through investment and whatnot, they're spending it somewhere, and they're making acquisitions on some IP.
They got some big ones.
Yeah.
Mineski enters strategic partnership with Mogul. Team Secret launches branded hub and tournament series.
Yeah, I just saw those. They were
That's pretty big.
And they're in
Dota
the
tournaments, I think?
Indian market
To
as
be
well.
to be fair though,
Share prices gone.
Maybe 16
AT game.
Mineski isn't Mineski as we know it anymore.
No?
No,
It's
so
changed, right?
Mineski.
Well, that's the organisation side, right?
Yeah, well, the MET Mineski Entertainment something, right? I can't remember what
They're the former
they've broken
ESL
off. They've broken off
crew.
So, like,
oh, yeah, that's
the,
right.
the team and stuff. So obviously, someone we all know, Dash Zach.
They dropped all their esports teams, yeah?
Well, yeah, they don't really have an esports division anymore, as far
Yeah.
as I'm aware. That's now IO Esports.
Yeah.
which now has the Dota team and all that kind of stuff operating under that. So they've broken off. So Mineski in its form now is different to the Mineski we once knew.
But they've partnered with I don't know when that partnership was announced actually, because
December.
Okay, so that actually was prior to them splitting from Mineski. But
but if you don't think they didn't know about that, surely it's not like overnight with the splitting. Like that's
to sum this up, they're an Australian company in that they operate out of Australia, have a lot of Australians on the board, on their books, ASX listed. So they're going to come under scrutiny in this market, but they're not doing anything in this market. And that's probably why they are being so heavily scrutinized right now. Is the fact that
no one can even go around and say, I know exactly what Mogul is or what Mogul's trying to be. Like they're trying to be this online platform. They're trying to support tournaments. What is it? Like, pick something. You've partnered with Mineski. You're partnering with Team Secret. Like, where do you draw the line between being an organizer and then partnering with teams? Like,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We still don't really know whether or not they're a tournament organizer
or
they're just a platform.
That's the thing.
Because it seems as though they've recruited these
they're both
organizations, though, that are doing the legwork for them in running their competitions.
Has anyone from Mogul made a statement at all based on stuff coming out and all the speculation? Has anyone said anything?
Maybe, but where do we look?
Yeah,
I keep off LinkedIn.
Yeah,
at the moment.
fair.
Have you been on the Facebook group though?
The Oceanic.
Yes.
Look, it's good for a laugh.
It's
That
very
Facebook
informative.
group's super toxic.
But
I'm leaving it tonight.
Tell us your thoughts. You're leaving it tonight, are you?
I'm leaving it tonight.
Are you going to do your drop the mic post?
Just delete Facebook.
You going to do it?
I'm leaving it tonight.
Delete Facebook. You don't need
Sorry, Chris, nothing against you, but like some of the shit that goes on in there and some of the circle jerking is just, I've had enough.
I have notifications for Facebook turned off. That's the best thing. And then you just jump in occasionally and go, oh, look at all these things I've missed, and then catch up.
Man, the most information I get out of that now is when people, like stuff like this, to be fair, but I mean, I saw this elsewhere as well, but when people send me screenshots of some of the meme shit that comes out of there. That's about it. And to be fair, I don't need to be a part of the group to still get those. So
yeah,
I'm sick of the toxicity in there when I do stick my head in and read some of the shit. So
how are you liking your time on a podcast, Nick?
It's fantastic. Bloody ripper.
Now, speaking of disappearing, you're going to disappear out of this Facebook group, Sean.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Where'd WESG go?
Oh no.
Where did the announcement go? For WESG
Where is the announcement? So basically, obviously,
that's where it went
correct.
Ultimately.
Yeah. I mean,
jeez, I've been absolutely rorted on Twitter. But the point is that I'm going to make is that communication coming out of WESG has been so appalling that some of the players that are meant to be in attendance, namely the Carnage female team that are attending, were informed a week before flying out that the tournament is being rescheduled again, but no one knows when. And they weren't directly contacted. It was announced via, I believe, a press release or Twitter. Yeah. And look, these, the players have already stated that they've taken work off. They've made arrangements, not once.
Just treating them like second-class citizens.
Well, now not twice, but 3 times they're going to have to make new arrangements for themselves. Now, that is an absolutely nightmarish situation. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's some factors there that may be outside of the tournament organisers' control, namely travel bans to some regions. But the whole thing
is a
shit show, right? From the start. It's been an absolute shit show. And
I mean, it's a shit show every year, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
for the most part, I mean,
now the thing that we were curious
good.
about last week was that from an organisation standpoint, we question why some teams were entering it. It's pretty clear, isn't it, Nick? You wouldn't want to be involved with this as an organisation.
Well, I mean, they're the AEL on the global scale, though, right? Like they're
the who?
They're the global
Critical.
AEL.
Another hit. Either way, it's entertaining. But the point here is that knocked it out of the park in. Now, WESG, under that Alibaba group of Ali Esports, which again is the same group that is, as we said, got WESG, they got the ISF, which AESA fall under. So it's basically just
we
one
shit
big...
on them like every week, and it's not because we hate them. It's just because they
suck.
do something shit every week.
Can you imagine? All right, so here's this big umbrella.
Show us
And-
their spending.
And people are standing underneath this umbrella, and it's just raining under this umbrella. That's basically the company structure.
So you're saying that there's this big umbrella, but it's above the rain clouds?
No.
Okay. Well, I didn't
So basically, people...
no vaping. He just wants to talk about clouds all the time.
Damn right I do.
Basically, the point I'm getting at is the fact that nothing under this umbrella of Ali Esports is any good.
It's just rubbish.
It all filters down, and it just gets progressively
Like I
worse.
said, show me the spending. Let's see.
Well, as we said last year, the 2018 edition of the tournament, which is where it gets super confusing because this year it's the 2019 edition of the tournament being played in 2020. No idea. There's confusion from the get-go. So it's pretty clear, why there may be some confusion amongst the people actually working for it because they don't know which year they're working in. But they think they're ahead of schedule, right?
They're killing it.
Yeah.
Fucking crushing it.
But they haven't even paid the winners of last series, the Wendigo team
yeah, I was going to say.
that won. G2 and Fnatic were in third and fourth.
Yeah.
Wendigo somehow, Stephen Bradbury
And
style.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Wendigo and Spirit, both Stephen Bradbury to the end. And then it was just whoever could Bradbury the hardest.
Yeah, but
Came
here's the
out on
thing,
top.
right? So Bradbury's got up there, but there's no gold medal. There's nothing. There's no payday. There's nothing. Would you enter again?
Then he turns into Shannon Knoll.
Probably not.
And there's not
Probably
even
not.
exposure bucks because you don't fucking hear about it either.
Yeah.
Well, there's no marketing bucks.
No.
mate. Well, actually, no, different.
There's always a team ready to give it a crack.
That's true.
There's
Yeah,
always-
one
there's
man's
always-
trash is another man's treasure, right?
exactly.
I know one top team in Australia because remember I was like, man, why wouldn't you just sign up? It's an international opportunity. But I know one team that didn't sign up just because they were like, yeah, it's WESG. Fuck it.
Well, I had someone reach out from Avant and say basically the timing and the
yeah. So for the
fact
other
that
teams,
it was announced a day beforehand.
like Greyhounds, etc., or Renegades now. Sorry, they were all like on holiday, properly on holiday. So
Yeah,
So they just couldn't.
you can't just be giving them like a week's notice.
Look, yeah, a range of different factors. It's all shit. It all filters from the top, and it's not getting any better. And I'm not surprised it disappeared. Probably for the better for some of these players, to be honest. And there's been no
Don't waste
re-announcement.
everyone's time, eh? Just cut it off now, boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cut that.
It's pretty funny. I can just picture it. Like they announce this stuff a week out, and then none of the top teams sign up, and it's picture him sitting there with like surprised Pikachu face. Like what? Like,
Do you know what it
why are
is?
teams not playing?
It's honestly a game of Survivor, right? Like those surprise challenges and announcements that come out.
Grab your shit, boys. Get in the car. We're going.
Exactly. It's like, all right, guys.
Being
you
the
know,
only person that knows about a qualifier is like having the immunity idol.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
rock up on the day and you're like, I've got it.
And once you think you've escaped, you like put on another island with
Yeah.
even more shit conditions,
Oh,
where you're given no opportunity.
No
To-
uniform.
Yeah, and then you're told that you're leaving on one day, and then all of a sudden you're not. It's been pushed back, and then there's another series of challenges. But not only that, you've got to try and decipher what the message is from smoke signals because you haven't been directly told.
fuck, you've
You don't
thought
even
a lot
know to
about
Yeah,
look
I'm
for the
just
smoke
letting you
signals.
go deep on this.
Yeah,
Jim's put a lot.
I'm in.
Is this?
I'm in. Keep going.
He's 3 lattes deep today. And
That's
he's
true, mate. Productivity has intensified. Look, to be honest, yeah.
Just, nah, mate, you're just roasted.
Mate, I'm on the grind.
Oh,
okay?
stop it!
Yeah.
Stop it!
What?
Nothing.
He's
Just
just trying
stop
to espresso himself.
No.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, stop it. You're frothing at the mouth.
I am milking it.
This
That's
milk
true.
has turned sour.
I'm not taking part.
I'm gonna
For the good of
letting it
anyone
dry.
that's still listening, we're moving on.
We just lost half our listeners. Just
Yeah.
then.
Now,
Gone.
Mac, we moved at this point earlier. There's been potentially discussion of a flash and dash on OCE. There was obviously a huge announcement with ECS rebranding, finally re-announcing themselves as Flashpoint. Really comprehensive format, actually.
Yeah.
If you do listen to the YouTube bit. I'm not going to try and explain it
It's
because
nice.
I wouldn't do it justice, but it is super...
It's Blast-esque.
It's Blast-esque, but it's also entertainment focused. Now, the tagline is they've essentially tried to WWE up CSGO.
Yeah.
Now,
Get some personality in between the teams again.
precisely. Now, the thing that interests me the most, obviously, is OCE. How do we get involved? Is there any involvement? A lot of people have asked, but there haven't been any answers. Or have there, Mac?
No, well, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, there goes my...
Not that he can
Fuck,
talk
I'm
about,
excited.
probably.
That has nothing to do with that.
It's a meme.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Prefers not to disclose.
I actually got excited. I thought Mac actually knew something. I'm sitting here because
No, I was just. My point was
Wow.
that because I didn't see them publicly announce that they came from ECS.
Mm.
I just noticed that I was in a fucking Flashpoint Discord getting a million messages when people were joining, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
And figured out it was the ECS Discord for the Caster Challenge, which they just swapped over to the Flashpoint one. And I was like, "Oh,
It's
so
as if-
Flashpoint's just ECS but rebranded."
Reskin.
That was my point. But then you just went over that and threw me under the bus with
You
the
must have
whole
not
fucking
watched.
question.
You must have not watched the
Jesus.
whole Thorin escapade before that about ESL software exclusivity, and this is
And
gonna
then the
this-
apology afterwards.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's warranted.
Yeah.
They're all adults at the end of the day, right?
Mm.
But the thing is, it for me, I was just sitting there, and I don't even play anymore, and I was just thinking, well, that's fucked. Like, where's our opportunity gone? Like, I worked really hard to get Australia as many opportunities, and everyone who was pro back then. So, and then we had this legacy of like, now we're in it. Like, Australia is in it. They're part of the global event. Like, in 1.6, we were just a byproduct of WCG and anything else that cared about regional based tournaments. So now we're in the world tournaments with the best teams in the world. But now I think we went through a rough patch here and there, but we're back now, I think. And it's like, well, where are our opportunities? Where are what's the reason for playing now if we can't get into ESL?
Well, Face It is obviously behind Flashpoint.
Yeah.
But we haven't had a pathway to anything Face It related in quite some time outside of the
Well,
major,
we ruined
right?
that too.
Yeah, like
We
last
actually
time
ruined that.
I remember was Face It Stage 3, which then fed into a DreamHack.
And we didn't go.
Who didn't go?
I can't remember who it was,
Right.
but it wasn't us because we didn't.
The
we-
last
we
team
weren't
to
alive.
attend was Legacy.
I think it was Legacy.
But they attended.
They went, but I think there was.
It was
so
in-
it was.
in
It was.
non-shipping.
It was Immunity season 1, Animal Squadron season 2, because they upset us. And
Season
then
3 was Legacy.
Season 3 was Legacy.
Season 4.
Season 4 they just got dropped off, and I think it was because there was either a conflict or like the team that won didn't go,
Right.
and
so
then
they
we
just
never
went,
got it again.
They just cut off the whole region.
Yeah.
So is it a surprise maybe to see that there hasn't been anything announced for this region for Flashpoint? Given that it's a
Yes.
Face It product.
Yeah, it is a surprise because they know there's a lot of players here. Obviously, I work with Face It.
Well, not only that, entertaining players, right? Like,
Yeah, but I mean, new up and comers, I guess.
yeah,
you know.
but everyone knows Australians as larrikins, right? And that certainly the guys that have been put in front of the camera are starting to now act to that a little
Well,
bit.
what I find
Playing into it a
interesting
bit
is
more.
the whole
Exactly.
Flashpoint thing is about the best of the best might not be here because ESL has signed them up. So we're gonna have the next best, but we're gonna have the best product. So you're gonna have the next best, but it's like, is there Australian teams in that next best? Because we kind of are the next best. If you look at other teams underneath Renegades, give them an opportunity. So it would make sense. Like, we fit their product. But the thing is also they understand that an Aussie team is basically on par with any other team in Asia or any other team in Ukraine or Russia.
Well, the
I
thing
swear I
is,
saw Thorin say something about regional qualifiers though,
yeah, but
Yeah,
there
he did.
wasn't anything announced for OC as far as I'm aware.
but there wasn't anything announced for other regions as well, right?
There's North America, Europe, and South America.
Okay.
So there is.
Thorin is also of the perspective that I believe that Australia and Oceania and China, we're not that important to a tournament that wants to be having the best teams in the world, which is fair enough.
Well, you see a lot of content coming out from a lot of tournaments, and it's very heavily Australians focused.
Yeah, but that was like what, Dick Stacey, maybe some of the Renegade, some of the 100 Thieves guys, max.
Yeah.
You don't see any from China. You don't see any from Asia. You don't see anything like that. So
Yeah.
we're all part of that region, remember. APAC is its own region. We have our own minor. So you look at the region. You don't just look at Australia. And so for our region, like, we're pretty dog shit on the grand scheme of things,
Just in terms of like the frequency of teams that we have.
You don't.
that are
No one
within
knows
the-
any of the teams. Like, we have the same teams win qualifiers every time, which is good. It's Renegades, and they're going across and making a name for themselves. if they start getting invited, like they have been with ESL, then there's an opportunity
Next
there for the next team. But it'll take a while before that next team gets its own international brand and recognition, and with other tournament organizers as well. Especially if you've got, Order, who are just like this, in terms of consistency up and down like a yo-yo.
Yeah, but speaking to that too, I think obviously the tournament said that it's very content heavy. It's very focused on that. It's a lot of shoulder content that rides off their matchups.
I'm pretty sure they've
Is it
signed
difficult?
up Chad.
Is it difficult to create shoulder content for those next Australian teams? Because there's, a lot of their stories.
What are you building on?
Exactly,
though, Jim?
aren't exactly known or haven't even been formed yet.
I don't want to sign up any Aussie teams right now, knowing who we have here locally and expecting them to be larrikins. Like, I don't see it.
Okay.
Like
but you never know. Like, you don't know until they get the opportunity.
Well, I mean, I know because 3 of them are in Order. Like
the veterans.
Yeah, like
The
those
band.
guys. Yeah, I mean, get them in front of a camera. I don't see any chance for a larrikin. Maybe Ustillo, but then you've got the other 2. Like,
I think I've seen you still take one interview in his time.
yeah,
Maybe.
but I mean, like I'm saying, no one knows about them, so you can't be signing them up for things.
Yeah, okay.
Dick Stacey is a big name.
It's
Gratisfaction, big name. He's got the Gucci, he's got the moustache. Like, he's done well.
Plays into it too.
Yeah, absolutely, as he should.
Yeah,
Liaz, super quiet, looks like Harry Potter. That's about it.
But he is
Very good.
He is absolutely like the girls go wild for him
He's got the K-pop
in
look.
Asia. Like dead set, the girls go wild for his look. It always has been the case.
Asia, Strathfield, all the same.
That's why he doesn't visit. But point is, it's pretty like knowing what we know now and whatnot. It's pretty clear to see that obviously the region, as you said, Ian, not generally the focus in the first season.
Yeah.
For Flashpoint. Maybe further down the track, we might see something.
Depends on what they want to be. If they want to be like a WESG, if they want to be like a WCG, ESWC, like we're focusing on like basically what DreamHack tried to be, and that's how we got in as well. They just said we want teams from all over the world, and then sometimes people would be like, it's not fair that you have these guys because they're shit, and they'd be like, well, you're not wrong, but it's about having the opportunity and like making this a global game, and that's why we have the minors.
Whereas Flashpoint has just gone, we want the most entertaining teams.
Yes.
Yeah. Within the budget too. Don't get me wrong, it's not actually cheap to put OCE teams.
We're
overseas.
so far away from the rest of the world. Like, something to consider as well.
Okay, well, I think that will actually round out our regular topics for tonight, unless anyone had anything that was pressing.
Okay. You do.
Yeah. Have you guys caught wind of this Project A thing?
All right, we dodged that somehow.
I've heard about
We've
it.
talked it on the podcast, remember? And I shit talked it because it was right.
Oh, I didn't hear that. So never mind.
Goldfish.
Did you do it after you saw Henry G's?
No, this was months ago. This was when it was.
Oh no, we did. Yeah, I remember talking about months ago. No,
I was
I'm
like,
talking about,
everyone's so happy for this game.
No, we
It's
haven't
like
brought up
ran
Henry's
by
tweet
a
about
conglomerate
the
that just
soft.
doesn't
Well, it's
let
not
you-
just Henry's. There's a few others out there as well.
It's made by Volcano, the guy who made Cage.
It is getting awesome feedback from FPS and CS.
Hashtag
people.
ad, please.
Yeah, well, that's the issue.
Yeah,
right?
look,
Yeah.
Henry made it very clear that he was doing this on behalf of himself because he felt like he wanted to after being given an opportunity to play it.
Yeah.
I'd like to take him on his word on that. You know what I mean? I feel like if it was an ad, he just wouldn't have said anything about that at all.
I remember when Dirty Bomb was coming out and all the pros were like, oh, Dirty Bomb's so cool,
True.
blah, blah, blah. Because
point.
Dirty Bomb developers came to the majors and they were like, here, do you want a key for Dirty Bomb?
They actually had a lot of talent playing that game as well.
Yeah.
And they were giving the same feedback. It's a great game.
Yeah.
I think the difference is, though, independent developer versus Riot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
and Dirty Bomb was riddled with cheaters very quickly.
Right. Well,
Okay.
So I
Problem-
feel like a Riot game. I feel like a Riot game would be less riddled with cheaters. that's
Problem
what
of
I'm
a
saying.
small developer.
Yeah.
yeah. But
So all I'm saying is I went from really not being that interested or caring to like a little bit interested now. I'm going to judge it for myself when it comes out. Get my hands on a key at some point.
I think the
Give it a
hype
crack.
is enough just to sell copies right now.
I think it's just easier for me to move to sim racing.
If I-
to
what-
be
Do
honest.
you have to buy it, or is it going to be a LOL structure where you get it for free and they sell skins in game?
I'm pretty sure it'd be a LOL structure, right?
Yeah, probably
they're
be
not
free.
You'd
shit.
assume so.
Well,
It's
look
too
at
hard to move
Fortnite.
away from that model now.
Yeah,
That's
once
everything's
you've
free now.
established
So.
Fortnite's done it. They've
Yeah.
proven that the V-Bucks are the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
So
part of that.
I'm definitely interested now. I went from not really
Nah, I'm still
caring
not
to reading
interested.
some stuff to going, okay, cool. I'm interested to see what this is all about.
The ability stuff just kind of puts me off a bit.
But the
Yeah,
thing
but
was, did you
apparently
see what he was
You
saying?
pay for it. You buy these,
Yeah.
and they're not abilities. They're just
It's like
It's
utility.
like utility.
Yeah.
It's like buying a grenade or a smoke grenade or a flashbang. Instead, you're getting these little other little perks, and
Do they regenerate after a period of time? or
no,
anything like
each
that?
round you have to buy them again. Like
There's an economy structure in
Yeah,
the game,
economy
like
structure.
like
Like
CS.
CS.
So you can buy like a laser or something, whatever it is, like a wall that goes up that could stop
whatever.
Don't know, I
Yeah,
haven't played
maybe.
it,
Yeah,
but-
I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
I
okay,
assume
just
something like that.
spitballing.
Yeah. But it's round based, and then you'd have to be smart about who's buying what for your team makeup.
I'll
and
be very
things like that,
surprised
so.
if Europe picks it up. I can see like maybe
Be a Western thing.
China will
as
pick it
well.
up maybe,
Yeah.
but like I don't see a big Western like push for it.
The thing that Riot has, or should I say Tencent has, over a lot of other FPSs is that ability to push products through China.
Yeah.
The problem is, right, or the Eastern market, let's just say. The problem is that they also control the spice with the other main FPS, which is Crossfire in that region.
Yeah.
So it actually
The last thing
it
they
actually
want
has to be the successor to Crossfire to be
no
on
They-
a big scale.
They don't want anything to interfere with Crossfire.
Well, how's it going to sit in harmony
I think
with it?
it's going to be different, right? If you look, if they're smart with the way, like we've talked about this in the past, some of the issues CS:GO faces has been
Hardcore FPS.
hardcore FPS in today's society when you're planting bombs and all this other crap, right?
Oh yeah,
Terrorist,
that
counter-terrorist,
old chestnut.
all this other stuff, right? If I'm Riot and I'm taking some of the best parts of CS:GO, whether it be economy, whether it be like smart utility use through their own little
Mhm.
spell system or whatever you want to call it, ability system, and then you're doing it on this like a round by round basis, like it sounds like what they're trying to do is not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but take something that's been incredibly successful, filter out all the things that kind of hold it back that has been part of that game from the get-go. If they do that well into China, like you said, I can see that being very successful.
I think Crossfire is very safe in China,
Yeah.
just from my experience.
Yeah.
I think this other game, Project A, will take people from every other FPS
Okay.
in China. So
Yeah.
like you'll get all the Overwatch players.
Everyone will come
You'll
across.
get all
Yeah,
the and even Korea. We've got to remember Korea.
Rainbow
they're gonna
Six
they're gonna
and
go
stuff
nuts
like
with
that.
this shit.
Yeah.
So Rainbow and Japan as well. Now you mentioned Rainbow Six. Like if you're not into Rainbow Six in Japan, like you're not going to get out of Japan.
Yeah.
Right. Project A comes along. These other little
It's a pathway.
it's a pathway for these
for
other
the
players.
FPS space, yeah.
And so I think it's going to hit big in Korea and Japan and stuff like that.
So you-
China, I don't think they'll hit unless it's the Overwatch community in China comes straight to Project A. I think Overwatch is legit going to die when this game comes out.
So you're less worried about cannibalization from like other Tencent products.
Yeah,
In the FPS.
they
market.
got a real strong foothold on what they've got, and don't forget they got PUBG as well. PUBG, no esports
PUBG
roadmap.
Mobile.
Yeah, mobile is big in China, but
Nice and all through Asia now.
Project
Southeast Asia
A
as well.
will get everyone from PUBG, everyone from Overwatch, because there'll be from the get go. You watch, there'll be like a clear esports pathway.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's
I reckon
they'll
it'll
get those
excel
people.
locally because of that as well.
In
'Cause
Australia?
PUBG's only got quals. They don't have a league.
You're in Australia, you mean?
Yeah. Overwatch is pretty much
We got a
on the
real
way out.
real bad habit of jumping on the bandwagon of things straight away. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but if
There's already
if
a lot
there's
of CS
clear
players
pathway,
involved.
if
I
there's
think
a
it'll be
clear
opportunity
pathway-
based as well.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have all these players
If
that
Riot-
don't have the opportunity.
They're already here, right?
Yeah.
Riot's already here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a good chance there'll be an Aussie pathway.
Yeah.
How popular the game gets to enable us to be as good as the rest of the world. If it's super popular in another country, like we don't stand a chance. So
I think we'll wait and see. It's definitely piqued my interest a little bit more from what it was before. I'm curious to see how it plays out, and I will give it a crack. I'll see how it goes.
I'm a pretty tough judge when it
Either-
comes to these sorts of games.
Either way,
Overwatch had me for a little bit.
their marketing's working. I don't
Yeah,
know if they'll
definitely.
Probably,
Oh,
probably
yeah.
spend a bit more than 259K on it though.
What do you reckon the actual name of
quarter.
it's going to be?
Quarter.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a gamble on the name?
It's going to be Project A.
You reckon the actual name's going to be Project
It'll
A?
be Projector.
Yo.
No, what does the A
I don't
stand
know.
for? Is it
Aries.
Aries? Project
Yeah,
Aries?
Project
that's-
Aries.
Yeah, that's
I'm not actually
honestly
sure.
it's a throwaway title, right? Like
Yeah.
they'll call it whatever they want.
Mm.
They'll call it, and they don't forget they've also got a fighting game in the pipeline too,
They do.
right?
Mm.
They had a bunch of games
That
coming
sounds to me that sounds more exciting. But
We'll
now,
see.
the interesting thing for me, right, is that Riot are one of those brands or Tencent or one of those brands that actually have the power to control entire ecosystems.
Yeah.
But I'm talking also on like a lot of Riot's investment is in high schools, universities,
grassroots stuff. Yeah,
the grassroots stuff. If you can feed players
Well, there will not be any
into that
violence in
system
this
in high
Project A.
school, you've got them for life, right?
Mm.
Like if you're feeding people into that system, you've
Early
got them
on.
for life.
Yeah.
One
So,
last
If you give them
thing.
a diverse offering as well in terms of games.
Because I think you're about to go to one of everyone's favorite segments, right? Is that where you're heading after this?
Yeah.
I got one last thing I just wanted to bring up with you guys. Sorry, lads, just real quick. Have you caught this S&D resurgence in all these battle royale games?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Do you ever
Love
caught
and
that
war,
in?
mate. It's love and war.
So like Fortnite now has it's like a 5v5
Search.
Yeah,
search-
I know
yeah,
what
It's called
yeah.
Love and War, isn't it?
I think so. I'm not
Yeah.
actually sure.
I
was
saw
just
that there
wondering-
was a
Shit
Dust
house.
2 map.
I'm pretty sure isn't PUBG just dropped something similar
Yeah.
as well?
They got some kind of search and destroy thing
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
That'd be
So
trash.
all these battle royales are now going full circle, and they're coming back to like the original
That's
COD
pretty
days
funny.
and stuff like
COD
that.
will win that war.
Yeah, probably. Well, COD tried to do the same thing, but the other way around. COD tried to bring out that whole battle royale thing, and I know that had a little bit of hype for a little. I actually never played it myself.
It wasn't terrible.
I was
Yeah, it
watching
wasn't
the pros
It wasn't
play. Yeah,
terrible.
it was,
They've got a new one coming out.
I think the fact that it was on PC was the fact that I gave it,
Gave it an
it
inch.
piqued my
yeah.
interest. Yeah.
yeah, graphics were nice.
It looked
Loot
good.
system looked good.
It seemed to play all right.
Yeah,
Unlike CS:GO's battle royale.
but it was boring as shit. At the end of the day, like nothing's lasting. That's why Counter Strike is the best. It lasts.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know.
Okay.
Even remember how excited we were for Battlefield.
But we
We-
played it. But that's
we
what
were
We
very
Battlefield
quit
is.
before the Battle Royale came out.
Oh yeah, but wasn't there a reason for that?
Firestorm.
We moved house.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
true.
okay, yeah, we didn't have it.
We actually moved house at the worst time, right? We lost internet when Apex Legends came out.
Yeah.
We missed the curve there, and when Battlefield peaked.
Yeah. Mm.
Battlefield 5, that is. Okay. Well, I'm going to segue into Max Mailbag. Quick thank you to Skrilla, obviously, as well.
Do I go now? Do I just order my Uber? And
What?
We're
am I
getting.
am I
We're getting.
supposed to? Am I part of
we're
the
getting
Max mailbag? Or?
Yeah, you can sit in,
will
mate.
be.
Yeah, sick. All right.
Just
Okay.
stay quiet.
It's funny because like the only person that probably can't hear this at the moment is Mac. Now we
Yep.
wanted last week to give Max Mailbag a bit of a jazz up, bit of a I don't know, make it stand out a
Jingle.
little bit. Give it a jingle.
Yeah.
You guys are going to hear this for the first time, so apologies
are
in
they gonna-
advance, gentlemen.
Oh yeah. Are they
Um,
going to do the vote? Are we doing a vote thing? What are
We might put it. We'll put this out to a poll
Is there
during the
one-
week
Oh, I'm scared to know
as to which
you want
one's
me
the
now.
worst.
Yeah.
But we'll leave this one to the community. But basically, Ian and I.
Don't put me in this.
What do you mean? We work together on this.
A
This-
professionally trained voice actor and Jim
He's
went over and did a couple of intros for Max Mailbag.
We wanted to give it a really quick intro. All right. So
I worked for free on this.
it's don't throw out those clothes, Ian.
Oh,
There's
this
some
is-
of your best
this is
material,
gonna
mate.
be
This is how you
good.
build a portfolio, by the way.
This is it. Okay, so we're going to preview some of these jingles. Now the problem is, I've got to. Here we go. Get it in now.
This is riveting TV.
This is it. Yeah. So the stream, aka the podcast, should be able to hear this. And oh jeez, don't you open that trapdoor. But we're going to preview the first attempt. So this is number one, jingle number one, and it's just the start of Max Mailbag.
You're listening to Max Mailbag with Mac.
That has got to be.
You're listening to Max Mailbag with Mac.
That is terrible. That is actually garbage.
We actually recognise that, so we tried to jazz it up a little bit.
Oh, good.
We went for a second attempt. Okay, so this is number two. This will be number two on the poll.
Open wide, come inside. It's Max Mailbag.
We may run into a few issues with that one.
Oh god.
That 250k marketing right there.
I did not know this was going to happen.
Yeah, right.
This was.
The third choice, a little bit different. Okay, thought we'd just vary it a little bit. I tried to jazz it up a little bit, see if I was successful or not.
It's Max Mailbag.
That's Gucci Mane.
Thoughts?
Hurt my ears. I couldn't even hear it.
I'll write you 4 bars.
I hate
option 4 is I'll
all
wrap
of
4
this.
bars for that.
Delete all of them.
4. Okay, so option 4 is jazzed up to the max.
Oh,
Super
no,
jazz.
there's more?
Super jazz. Yeah,
Is
yeah.
there more?
Yeah,
gonna say,
I don't know
there's
the
one
level.
more.
We spent a fair bit of time to see
This-
just
this-
these coming out. It's actually hilarious, but
Oh my god.
they were way worse.
Yeah. All right, ready?
Oh shit.
That's right, Mac and Matt, you know what time it is. It's time to reach into that mailbag.
That's Barry White, right?
That you want to know the answers to most with Matt's mailbag.
I'll fuck with that one. Run it up.
I can't unhear this.
It's
Don't like it?
Sexy jazz time.
Yeah.
Female viewership's gone up.
That's a spike.
It's the spicy one.
All right, so that's option 4. You don't even need the voice changer.
I don't know why we were using it. I think I can do a good enough job as it is.
All right, cool. We're going to put that one to a poll.
I think that's a unanimous decision, right?
Number 4?
You can't sexy jazz time. You can't unhear that.
Exactly.
How long does it go for? It was like a
It's a 45 seconds.
45-second fucking introduction. Jesus.
Yeah, we
Well,
need
people
to,
know that they're in Max Mailbag
just
now.
needs a workshop.
Well, they certainly do.
Reach on in. Say
All right.
Mailbag.
Well, let's get into it. Now that that's out of the way, you guys can vote on that at home, even though we have a decision. I don't know. We might do a fucking...
That was with
Poll.
free software. Okay.
I'm like triggered right now. Like, it's-
And that was with our voice changer.
Oh my god.
Have you asked a question yet? Quickly.
Okay,
you go.
anyway, Max.
I just love the overuse
just
of the
in there.
fading out too on every.
Anyway,
on all the
Jess
audio.
just arrived. I don't know if you could hear her talking in the background before, but
All right, who's good? Who's good?
what do we got? So, from the top, we do have Fish saying, will the timing of IEM Melbourne see top teams skipping the event right at the end of the play break? I guess
we talked about that.
we covered that one. So,
Yeah.
you know, Fish, go listen to the start of the podcast if you only tuned in to listen
I
to your
think that
question.
one's going to be a Grand Slam decision.
Yeah. Tag, you're it, has asked, with the reduction in premier events, is there an opportunity for a new event to take up the Sydney market, or will we see a retraction within the market with the solidification of IEM and MEO? I think we're talking specifically in Sydney.
Specifically,
Basically, he's asking, are we going to see more esports events in Sydney, or are they all gone? Is that TLDR?
large
That's
scale.
what. Yep.
I think.
Oh, you're looking at me? I'm
Anyone have any idea?
All right.
OPL's
so,
still here mostly.
long story short, before we just throw someone down the trapdoor, I've heard rumblings of a group that are looking to start up operation in Australia that are targeting bigger scale events. Base of operations, Sydney.
I've heard similar rumblings, I think, Jim.
Mm.
And
So
if it
maybe.
is-
Oh,
is
maybe
the
you heard the
similar-
same rumblings.
That's a
if
lot
it
of
is similar
rumbling.
rumblings,
I only heard the fucking door. open.
Duplicate
I don't know what you guys are listening
rumblings.
bit of rumbles. If it is, though, I'm not convinced at all. Yeah.
No, like
Based on what
to
I'm
be
hearing,
honest,
yeah.
like the more I know about it, the less I'm convinced that
Yeah,
that's going to be the
exactly.
case.
Let's just not panic. All right?
But-
First of all, let's just be happy that IEM is back in Australia because no IEM means no major event. Then, like, that's one thing we got to just say. That's great because it's good for the whole ecosystem. And then you have Sydney. It's always going to be the home of esports while ESL have an office here.
And also while the publishers are still the
Based.
big,
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
big publishers are
big
still based
publishers are here.
Yeah.
And then all your brand representatives, usually based out of Sydney,
Yeah.
and et cetera, et cetera.
Or any advertising,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
all
yeah,
that stuff that they
yeah.
make is done out of Sydney.
Yeah.
So yeah, Melbourne can just
Suck it.
just chill.
have a coke, have a coke and a smile, and basically just be glad they got IEM and this other tennis stuff.
Mm. Okay. Well, look, in relation to the question, I think there's always going to be an opportunity for a big event in Sydney. While there's not a big event in Sydney,
Of
Yeah.
course.
there's always opportunity
That's-
for one. Who's going to service that event? I'm actually not sure. I don't think there's anyone
Hmm.
else in the space right now that has the capacity to do a stadium event on the scale
Nah.
that ESL do.
No chance.
Esports Social Club Grand Slam.
Great, mate. We'll pack out
Kudos Bank Arena.
our.
Thanks, Dan.
ESCGS.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Kudos,
How
Jim's
about this?
backyard.
MR9. 16.
Oh no!
K.
Don't give away your business ideas for free.
No, this is CGS. MR9.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to go into the other stuff.
Stop it.
Oh,
Ian.
okay, shit. No,
Yeah.
it's another time,
But
another place.
Yeah, MR9. It's good. Yeah.
We'll change the pitch.
I was hoping Flashpoint would be doing that, but they've gone for normal CS.
Yeah. Now,
Next question.
I think there's opportunity. Who fills that void? There's no one that comes to mind. But there's rumblings of someone that's trying to. I haven't seen enough out of them yet. Anything.
Not going to be easy.
No.
Okay, so Jess has asked a question. The question is, how the fuck am I meant to afford travelling to Melbourne twice a year from Sydney for events?
It's easy. Become an influencer.
There you go.
Problem
That's
solved.
a you problem.
We
No.
need a Jess segment.
I don't know. Are we giving Jess personal advice on this one, or
She got a day job,
I rate
motherfucker.
it.
we have a heckler, or we're trying to provide quality feedback to the question?
Next question.
Okay, we're just skipping the question. That's
tough.
Jim's decision. I got.
I'll
It's
answer
going to be a horrible car ride home. Anyway, Benji OC says, how much does Still Barlin dog the boys?
About this much.
Yeah, that's a lot. Probably
There's a lot of
about this
dogs.
far.
A bit there.
We had to cut you out of the image. Did you see that?
Oh, Mac, why would you do that?
Holy shit.
That was
Doing
my
like that?
professional paint skills. Legit.
Brutal.
No.
You didn't notice?
I'm actually.
Have you not watched the other podcast yet?
No, why the fuck would I listen to you guys?
Jesus.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
We still maintain a very over-indexed
but that was because
ratio of gingers on this show, though.
yeah, I think Benji feels like he was left
Not even
behind
if
today.
we had 10 people on this couch, we are over-indexing.
It'll be fun. We'll put more people on the couch. We got more seats. Look, there's 2 more seats, and there's
That's our stadium
at the
event,
ground.
just miking up everyone.
Yeah.
The mailbag's not the only thing.
We'll get it done.
every week.
All right. Well, and Fish is doubling down. I don't know if that's allowed. You know, we've scolded people before for that, but from a scale,
What?
Right, you've got this, Mac, I believe.
from 1 to bruh, how much impact will Project A have on the CS scene if it is well made, is balanced, and supports a third-party land
We
environment
kind of covered it.
on the CS scene? So it's more direct than before. I think it
The
might.
tier 2, tier 3, maybe.
Yeah.
I think if it's going to have impact, it'll be on those kids that are aspiring to play something.
It'll be all
It's-
the kids that play LOL right now and then see an easy FPS to play.
Well, yeah, it's those kids that like are looking at FPS titles.
Yeah, but
They
we've,
wanna
we've
play.
talked about that. He's asking about the CS.
Yeah, as I said, the
legit what I said.
grassroots.
Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah.
Is where
Yeah,
it's
like
probably
all those
gonna
kids
affect.
that are in CSDM right now, they're probably the ones that will go across. No,
Yeah.
none of the pro
Or the
players.
kids playing gun game and stuff like
Yeah.
that. What's it called? Arms race or something.
yeah.
All those golden overs.
It'll be the ones that like struggle to get out of CGA, have really good core mechanics, and want to pick up a new game where they can potentially.
Is it going to be?
slide
Is
in.
it capture the flag or something? Because it can't be plant the bomb. Like, what's it going to be? Other
It'll
than
be
5v5.
secure the objective. Or something.
secure
Yeah.
the objective.
Something safe.
Yeah.
No, okay, so it will be like objective.
It'll be objective. It'll be literally planning and defusing a bomb, but it won't be a bomb.
Okay, yeah.
It'll be
Or replace it with cut a fucking cake or something.
Defense
I
of the
don't know.
Ancients. Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be fun. All right, so moving on, we do have Conky, who is back on Twitter.
Oh.
To everyone
Welcome back.
that weren't there earlier, for throughout the week, we did discuss it. But to everyone, RECS Go, who is the player you are going to miss watching play the most? Who has left in the last 12 months? Who is your player to watch for 2020? And how do Jim's coffees taste? Well, we don't know. How do your coffees taste?
They're getting better.
Yeah.
It's a process of experimentation, but my latte art.
So they're growing. So
Yes, my latte art is growing.
who do
Thank
you guys
for
miss watching? Who's left in the last year?
Kind of miss seeing myself play. And that was some
You haven't
good
left
stuff.
in the last
asking.
year.
Are we
Ian,
talking
that's
locally
okay.
or internationally?
that's
Just internationally.
Who's left?
let's just open it up across any game.
Well, I feel like
Oh.
Liaz, is it in the last 12 months? It's not even the last 12 months anymore.
Mm.
It's over 12 months. I was going to say I miss watching Liaz, but
You can still watch him,
You can
I can still watch him,
He still
but
plays.
he's left Australia.
but you can still watch him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling to
Give
think
that one.
who's retired that's
Tux?
influential. Because
Lucy?
Get Right and that are back. So.
Texter?
Tex hasn't retired.
I don't know. Who?
I mean, yeah, sure, Tux. Why not? That's an easy one. Obviously, retiring, I think, or at least
I
stepping
can't
back.
really think of any other ones.
He was fun to watch. He did some phenomenal stuff. He used to fill in all
Dick
sorts
Stacey.
of different roles.
I feel like
Yeah, maybe
Ocast is
he's-
tired. We don't get to see a lot of his games.
Oh, I get to
Well,
watch
you can
them.
still watch
Yeah.
him though.
Every August you can.
Right,
watch
let's
them.
go. Let's go to the other part of that question, which is player to watch. 2020.
Who's the player to watch for 2020? There you go.
Humongous.
That's 10 out of
Yes,
10.
it's so good.
The Mungus.
Who's the player to watch for 20?
APOC up.
Yeah.
He was a player to watch last year. He's getting better. He's still,
Yeah, I still think
improving.
he's a player to watch. Given that they've now got this opportunity with Chiefs, they're looking to take it to the next level. All those reasons, I'm super curious to see sort of what happens in the next 12 months. And from that team, I'll pick him. But literally anyone on that team, though, you know what I mean? Like, so I'll single him out because we picked him, before. But yeah, pretty much any player on that roster, player to watch. I'm trying to think of who else would probably.
I mean, I'm biased. I'd say like there's obviously a bunch of people on that team. I know Haz has been on the radar for a while. I think he's got a huge ceiling. Don't know how it fits into Avant, but I think he's a player that has a ton of potential.
Great kid too.
Valiance as well is good. I think he's in a cuck role.
Yeah,
at order. He can be doing a lot more. So they're kind of like the group that I see as like that next breed that could really come up.
Yeah,
That's actually really disappointing about Order. I think they do that a lot to their up and coming talent.
It's not just Order, it's everyone.
You look at what they did with Zeph, and now he's gone completely. He went from being a rising star in our scene and having a lot of potential and showing a lot of potential to ending up in that roster, to ending up being given a role that puts him out of position, to then going to GZ, losing passion and gone. Right.
So that's the thing, right?
Valiance, we're almost seeing the same thing. Almost.
That organisation shouldn't ever be a development, like in a development stage. They shouldn't be developing players. They should be taking players.
Yeah, they should be taking cream.
Like
cream of the crop.
Exactly. Well, for what they're doing, they shouldn't be developing players.
Yeah.
If your aspirations are literally to be number one in the region, you don't want to be in a position where you're having to develop players.
Getting a guy straight out of CGA.
Well,
CGI.
he was playing with Avant, wasn't he? Prior to that.
Oh, Zeph?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone, really.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, like no one had heard of Valiance, really. Like,
mate.
Yeah, nah. People.
You hadn't.
if
Okay.
no, seriously though, like
I know like that group that I kind of mentioned. I kept my eye on them a lot, like watching them come up because obviously they're stars, multi-fragging. They were carrying obviously in shitter teams, but
They
let
stood
me
out.
finish my sentence. I was saying, no one heard of Valiance like 6 months ago, right? Prior to him joining Order.
I've known him for like 3 years.
Yeah,
though.
that's you.
There was There was a 3 to 6 month period just before that where he was definitely making waves. So he was in teams where he was
Not
dropping
big enough. Not big
So
enough.
where he was dropping 40 bombs on teams like Order or Chiefs and stuff like that, while the rest of his team was getting 10 frags each, right?
I'll go back. I'll watch the demos. I'll see if he reminds me of myself.
Look, I'm going to go out and say, even though he's very established at the moment, Dexter, because he signed with a talent agency. You see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
So someone must be hunting.
he's an animal.
Yeah.
He's a fucking animal.
He's
He's
been
best player.
ridiculous.
He's best player in Australia right now.
And imagine how devastating it'd be for Renegades if they lost him. Because that's fucking
It's a
potential.
possibility, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It is-
yeah, as you get the brand equity, like he's going to become more valuable. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, they've lost their in-game leader before, the Renegades, not this roster, but a previous iteration. And they just used their power to get another one from somewhere else. I mean, yeah, they got Nifty, and no one really thought he was an IGL, but he made it work. So if anyone can just pick up an IGL from anywhere in the world, it's that org now.
Yeah,
Or just turn someone into an IGL, like Azza.
I think it's more in the playing
That's
group, though.
like years in the making.
Yeah.
for Azza to
Yeah,
get to that
That's-
level.
Been at that level for a long time.
Yeah, I looked at that playing group and it's like there's no clear immediate replacement as an IGL.
Yeah, I just had a quick think, but I don't think you'd really see one.
The only
but
one
we're talking locally though, right?
I'm just
No,
talking
no,
within,
from in
within
Renegades.
that.
Oh,
if,
within
yeah,
Renegades,
if they
yeah,
were to
correct.
just pick up another player
Maybe
and the
Liam.
remaining 4,
Maybe Josh.
I'd see Josh being able to do it, but I feel
he'd be
yeah.
a big loss in firepower. Big loss in firepower.
I feel like his
That's if it
firepower's got
impacts him,
his
though.
yeah. Well, his firepower lately has been unreal.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at Dexter, he's in-game leading with huge firepower. Like, I don't know, maybe
Where
plus
would
that
he even
potential.
go though? That's the crazy. He would have to go to an NA roster.
you'd have to have just some, Gen G strapped
Massive
with
offer.
cash, NA
Yeah.
offer,
Yeah.
and that Gen G roster is actually not that bad.
But I could also imagine Dex just being like, I don't want in-game lead. There's two sides to it where he either wants the in-game lead or which is why he'd stay where he is if that's what he wants.
Yeah, I feel like he wouldn't want to leave as is because of the chemistry in the team. But yeah, you guys happy to move forward with that?
Yeah.
Money
cool.
talks.
All right, well, there you go. So, MJ has asked, which current or past pro player would have the current community to buy in or support to head some sort of player union/association for CSGO? Would there be anyone who could do it for all esports or just more than one title in ANZ?
All right, so this is our region, not internationally.
Yeah, just for us.
Sounds like this region.
It's just for us.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know?
If only there was
I could pick someone from CS:GO.
yeah.
Like,
Well, you look across the games, right? And you try and make a short list of who are the
vocal leaders.
and we're talking the bigger esports titles because I don't feel as though in this region.
Tux.
I think he's a good
Yeah.
brand ambassador for sure. He's a good,
Tux from CS:GO. Someone like a Jakey from League of Legends.
Would you even look maybe for someone who's, to be honest, I actually sort of look towards a little bit in the broadcast talent perspective as well, like
Maybe.
players that have moved into that because they have
There
not
potentially
only
could be conflicts of interest there because of the talent within League of Legends being hired by Riot, who would then be
correct,
like,
so they'd have to
so-
choose.
yeah, you'd
So,
have to be
so
one
been
of the,
anything Riot related for a start. 'cause
They'd have
it's-
to. Well, there's players
It's
like
a player
Rusty, for
association.
example. I'd throw in as an
yeah, of
advocate
course,
for that.
but I mean, if you then put him in a position where you got to choose, right?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Like theoretically, if he was just able to
Yeah.
Focus on the one
choose,
thing.
focus on one, I'd put him as an advocate.
Yeah, Spawn would too. He's so passionate about League. So,
Yeah.
Rainbow Six, like I'd jump straight to one of the two coaches from the top two teams. So
Dazzle, wasn't
Dizzle
it?
with the
Was it
J,
Dizzle?
or
Yeah.
or Silix, obviously a good friend of ours. I think he'd be great at that. He's switched on dude. What other titles should we flex into? Obviously for Rocket League, you get the same problem though. I'd go with someone like a Yumi.
Yummy, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he obviously then
Well,
Talent.
yeah.
yeah, and no, but like again, different.
Yummy's
Yeah,
already
right.
very about the players.
He
Yeah.
is.
I thought he
He's-
left Rocket League.
No,
No.
he's going to New Zealand
Oh, okay.
for a little bit.
Yeah, okay. That's
And
the
he's coaching Rec.
reciprocity,
Yeah.
yeah. Which are that's like literally his main gig now, right?
Yeah.
He's very much still involved with the players.
Mm.
Very much, always has been. So I think he's a good
He'd be a
representative.
good one for that.
At least be a board member.
Maybe him or
Dota
Cam.
2, I'd go
Six.
Fury.
CJ?
CJ.
Yeah,
would be another
CJ
good
would
one.
be good actually as well. Dota 2, I'd go Fury, and then Street Fighter scene, like the FGC scene. There's obviously a lot of really big, prominent personalities.
I'd go
within
someone
that.
like your Somniacs.
Yeah, someone like that would
Like,
would get a
Som
lot of.
is or even
Because isn't he multi game as well?
he's mainly Street Fighter.
Who's,
But you'd probably look at someone like if you wanted multi-game, you'd look Waz.
Yeah.
Because he's Mortal Kombat and Injustice too.
Yeah.
And fairly highly ranked at both, but he's also, again, current player, experiencing all the growing pains of a player in this region,
Yeah.
FGC.
I don't know enough about Overwatch to really put someone forward for that.
I don't think Overwatch is going to have a seat at the table.
Yeah, probably not.
You know what I mean?
Because you can't really have a player society if Blizzard are the god of everything.
Exactly.
It's their says goes. So
I mean, we'd be here all night if we tried to list every esport title too. So I
yeah.
think
Well, the
that's
point
true.
was
I
it was
think
like
everyone
one
knows that.
person who could potentially
Overarching.
be
Overall.
overarch for
Okay.
all games. It
So now
wasn't
you got
like
your
go
short-
through every game.
Now you got
So-
your short list. Who stands out, if anyone?
I think they'd have to have some nous about him as well. So I
Yeah.
think even like the Rusty call is probably a good one. Or
Mm.
that's tough, isn't it, for everyone?
yeah.
Rusty's a very understandable person, so I feel like he'd translate across games really easily.
I like how
Yeah.
none of us went. Yeah,
Whereas
I'll
I
do
feel
it.
like with like a Yummy,
Yummy,
Yummy just
yeah.
fucking pisses me off sometimes. When he comes in
How you doing?
Right, any other issues you want to air?
Hey,
Yeah.
mate, how you going?
all the time. No, I love him,
Um,
but
Just took a weird turn.
he's all right.
That's a
All right,
compelling
it's
argument.
tough to say, but I'd throw someone. Reason being is because I think someone who has transitioned into broadcast talent has sat on both sides of the table, right? Like they see everything from a player perspective, but then they see it from above if they're talking to organizations and things like that.
You're gonna say Cozzy.
No, I'm just literally sticking with my pick
Rusty,
of Rusty
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
because I think they also then going to broadcast talent have the diplomacy required and also
Yeah, I could
to
back
be
that.
eloquent enough to be in that position.
I can
right?
back that. I back that for sure. I think he'd be a good dude for the job. He hadn't followed me on Twitter though. I'm a little bit upset about
Oh, okay.
Who did?
that. Rusty.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
we've
what I'm
been dinged, so we are moving on to MJ's second question,
Did you get
which
two?
is someone else got two, so he's getting two today. Just what has to happen for us all to abandon Sydney properly rather than endure it for some goddamn reason that makes no sense?
I'm not even answering that question. MJ, we get it. You don't like Sydney. That's great.
It
Look,
will take.
I like
it
a
will
lot
take-
of things more than Sydney.
Yeah.
It's everyone hates Sydney. It's okay. No one wants to be here.
Can we just
It's
say
the fact that ESL
Melbourne,
and Riot are here.
Melbourne's also very overrated. I want to say it.
It's
To,
like
to, the,
it's,
to the extent that he makes it out to be.
it's like Sydney just
Yeah.
with a few more options.
And it's
Yeah.
fucking cold, and then it's hot, and then it's fucking cold again.
I had someone
Yeah.
explain it to me the
Make
other
up your
week in
mind.
AO that was really sort of well done. Was that Melbourne has better man-made stuff like just infrastructure and things like that. Sydney's got the better natural stuff like beaches and just the I guess.
Everyone raves about Bondi. It is shit compared to any Queensland beach.
Yeah, but
Queensland's
that's fine.
got
We're not
best
talking,
beaches
we're
in
not
the world.
talking- Mate, I will raise you with WA.
Oh, he's going Ningaloo.
Yeah,
We're going south.
Yeah.
Let's go south coast.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
plenty of
Won't
beaches.
get
We're
eaten
up
by
on
a
the fucking
shark
beaches.
either. So
yeah, you won't eat Ningaloo either. There's no great whites up there. There's a few tigers, but
There's no great anything up there.
Isn't there Crocs up your way? Jeez, don't want to
It
deal with
says you're
that.
going too far north.
yeah,
mate.
it's a bit far.
That's all right.
No, there's no Crocs. At Ningaloo.
So my thing would be just it pretty much has to be where Riot and ESL move to, is where
Where the major developers go,
Yeah.
the publishers, sorry, not the developers, because the developers are in
Well,
Melbourne, but the
yeah.
Any more
publishers
serious
publisher
questions?
are
TOs.
all
PAX is in
businesses
Melbourne.
here.
Yeah.
PAX is in Melbourne, but
um,
that's
Danger has asked upcoming
Business.
teams in the region. Any CS:GO teams? Anything on your eyes? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
We've spoken about them a lot. That Chiefs roster.
Yeah,
I
we'll see
think
how
they're-
Chiefs roster goes.
Yeah.
I think they're the ones that are probably the most threatening right now to like that, that group of top three teams because
aren't they in the group of top 3 teams?
I'd probably sit them as fourth.
I'd
who's
put
your
them
nu-
above
right now?
Avant right now. Avant haven't been doing much.
No one's had the opportunity to do too much
Yeah.
at the moment.
It's-
So until they
that's
start
the
playing
thing.
more regularly, until say for example that ANZ season kicks off,
Until
and-
there's a real good tournament to try and win, then
I think that's when they'll prove their worth.
Right,
And
cool.
on LAN as well.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because obviously online doesn't mean... Oh, it does mean, but it doesn't mean shit.
The problem is online gets you to land, which is
yeah, which is an
So
issue.
You just gotta play well enough.
That's another, yeah.
you just got to play well
Yeah.
enough to get to land.
Yeah.
All right, so moving forward, Wooly, he's got 2 questions, but I'm only going to give you one in the interest of time. If you were all stuck in a lifeboat without food or water and the only way to survive was to resort to cannibalism, who would get eaten first and who would it be the last one standing?
Is this out of all of us?
Wasn't the other
Out of
question
us,
better?
yeah. If we were on a,
Well, this is good. This is
Lifeboat.
5 of us now.
yeah.
You know, not this. If there was
Before
3 of
us,
us,
Who's fucking,
Does
who's
the new
going
guy
down
get fucked over first? Is that what happens here?
first?
You're
I can
probably-
swim
you're
though.
probably
I'd
in
fucking.
trouble,
I'm just.
mate.
I'm
You just
doing
wanna eat
laps.
it. Well, like for me, it comes down to either A, like if I'm going to look at this logically, there's 3 things here.
Yeah.
Right?
you're going to eat 3
Mac,
people.
you're safe. Right? I don't know how, but you're safe.
What the fuck?
Either A, I'm going to get done in because I've got the most sort of food for everybody. Right? I've got the
The
could
biggest
last-
fridge.
You could
You
last
got the
longer
fridge.
on
You're
it,
like
right?
you're like a pinata.
Jim might get done in because if he does one too many dad jokes while on this fucking life raft, I swear to God, I'll kill him. And then Ian, if he starts whinging too much about shit, then he could be done. So it's really hard. Like I think you'll be safe, mate. You just got to be quiet, sit in the corner, and just chill.
And then
So
kill
it's-
cunts.
So as usual,
Basically.
as
Get
usual
'em.
podcast role.
Oh wow, that was brutal. There we
Anyway,
go. I
our
answered
first
that
man's
question.
been murdered.
Yeah.
So apparently I'd be the last one standing by not saying anything in the corner. There you go. And Sean does first. Easy. All right. And... Ooh.
Okay, Sean dies first.
Well, I don't know.
Tough
it's-
gig.
He'd have
Trying to get
up-
through it quickly.
Mm.
Nice little analysis there.
Are you like tenderizing the meat?
Yeah,
Is that
I
what
was
it
just,
is?
I was feeling, see how much you got. See how much you. Oh, you're ticklish, are you? There you go.
There you
Anyway, Omari has also asked, have you ever seen someone have a K-pop? Wait, what?
Don't even read that. It's junk. Problem is, you read
Any more
everything.
serious questions, Mac?
Oh yeah, no, no,
there was one
that
by
one's-
Conky.
I didn't read the whole
Just do
thing before reading it.
Wait, Mac, do the Conky one and then get onto the Annette one.
He's the Ron Burgundy, right? Like
Conky in the Annette one.
Anything you put in the
I did the
tweet
Conky
under
one.
Max
Is there more?
Mailbag, he'll read.
What was the conky one?
Annette didn't ask
Anything
one.
on that teleprompter.
Yes, she did.
I'm Mac.
But it wasn't on Max Mailbag, maybe? What?
He's
what
just
was
reading Twitter now.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
no, Annette says that. No, Annette's disappeared for me the first time I looked at it.
Hang on. She just
But
messaged
it's
me.
back
She said
now.
she
So,
blocked Max.
last question, Annette, lucky last. What are the chances of you doing this show live so we can ask questions in real time, no editing? What do you think? Oh, that's fucking dangerous. That's what I think.
It's real dangerous.
I asked that question. Yeah, that could lead to some issues, right?
Yep.
Dude, the way that we go,
Yeah.
let's just say it's not an impossibility.
I'm keen for it.
I reckon
I wanna-
it'd be
yeah.
cool, but obviously in the right environment.
We'd have to choose
And
our
then-
topics very
You
wisely.
have to
Have
yeah.
topics and
Dial it down.
Don't
bit.
look at me. I knew where
Fucking
this is
right.
going. Yeah.
It's not an impossibility. Is that like a double negative? Is that what that is? Can't you just say it's possible?
Why would I say that? Then
Oh,
straightforward.
I mean,
Look, I think it's on the cards. We want to do it, but
We-
it's a whole nother kettle of fish.
Exactly. I think the thing is too.
you've got fish in your kettle.
And also, Melbourne will never be the home of esports as long as this couch is here and people literally fly all the way here just to be on it. So
Mhm.
He's put it to bed.
see you soon, MJ.
So next
Oh.
episode in Brisbane.
Home of esports, baby, Brizzy.
Oh yeah.
Better,
Batman.
better have a good
We were
couch.
spouting that back in 2016.
It's true. Actually, we were trying to spread our wings
GC,
there.
baby.
Gold
This
Coast,
couch
home
is
of
going to get
esports.
hot over the next couple of months, just so you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
But if it isn't already.
It's all right.
Cool. And that's
All
it.
right.
That's it for the
yeah.
bag.
Well, I'm keen on a live show. If we ever get everyone in the same room at the same day.
Someone would
Every
have to
week.
make us do it though, like one of
Yeah.
those things.
Okay. We need a professional cat herder.
Yeah. We'd need a producer.
Yeah,
if
we'd
we're gonna
actually.
do live.
That's the problem. That's the biggest thing for us, is translating what we do into a live format with a producer that looks slick, that doesn't look like people running over to the machine,
Yeah. Or doing pirouettes in front of the camera. And
getting coffee and stuff. Anyway, I think that will round things out. Before we go, special thank you, as we said a few times, to Skrilla, who have certainly been awesome in helping us.
I swear there was a
flying-
jingle for this.
Flying Nick in from
Yeah,
Brisbane.
cheers, boys. Thanks for that, Skrilla.
But also enabling us to make awesome content. As we said, they're Australia's first esports betting website, and they've been supporting us, supporting the local community, not just us, other content creators as well. So if you are looking for an esports punt, make sure you do gamble responsibly, and check out Skrilla while you're there. Mac, you are providing us with the ASMR. As we said, a special thank you
Big
to Nick,
jug.
who's
Yeah,
endured.
cheers, Nick.
We
Yeah,
were going to let
cheers,
him off the hook.
boys.
He's endured the whole podcast, though. It's
Thank
some
you very
dangerous,
much.
dangerous topics. I know if this was live, this probably would have seen a few.
I think he's come out pretty clean, actually.
Yeah, that's what he was worried about
Safe.
at the start. Was
Yeah.
Safe.
potentially
I haven't lost my job yet. So.
potentially upsetting anyway. But as we said, special thanks, obviously, to Sean coming back on as a special guest.
You're welcome.
Despite
Very special.
despite now him being targeted as a potential source of food.
Well, I mean, I kind of put myself on that. Didn't
That's
I? Yeah.
true, actually. That's true. That's
I don't know, my ass is feeling pretty tenderized at the moment. This
Yeah,
bucket
you-
hasn't been the most comfortable thing.
I told you
I
to
love
get a
Mac at
chair.
the start.
You did.
Yeah, I'll sit on a bucket, no worries.
And then he-
yeah.
Woo! 2 hour podcast later, he's really regretting his decisions. But gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
welcome.
Obviously, regular Esports Social Club in myself, Geordie McAleer, and Ian Sniper Turner. Well, we're going to try and bring out another podcast pretty regularly, because obviously this one was waterlogged earlier in the week. But it's also allowed us opportunity to, as we said, get some special guests on. So excellent. And we hope you enjoyed this one. We certainly enjoyed making it. And we will catch you next time.